Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Young Jamie, back in the fucking saddle. How you feeling?
Very well, thank you.
COVID-free, 4 days in a row now.
We've kicked it.
Yeah, and now you still can't taste anything?
Can't taste. Well,
you lick a battery?
To come back today, but yeah, like 5% taste. Yeah, it's got to be pickle juice. Doesn't even taste like anything.
Really? It just tastes like water?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Very weird.
But you don't have any residual symptoms? Nothing wrong?
All good. Can breathe everything. You know.
Good to see you back,
O2,
buddy.
good.
We're a little worried about you. Just a little worried about you. Not worried about you. Alex Jones.
This is the most anticipated thing I ever did. I've probably had, no exaggeration, 2,000 or 3,000 people in the last year and a half ask me, when are you going back on Joe Rogan? And I'm always saying, I don't know. And then I learned you were moving here like 3-4 months ago, and now we're here, and this is exciting. I don't get butterflies anymore, but I actually have them here, and this is great. It's good to have butterflies after about 20 years. Didn't get it the last 2 times I was on. Didn't get it when I interviewed Trump. Didn't get it in a lot of things, but I've got butterflies here today.
And Tim motherfucking Dillon.
Yeah, I'm just a kid in a candy store. Thank you. Thank you for making this dream come true. This is what I've always wanted to do, and we've made it happen. This is my Make-A-Wish. I can die happy.
Well, I'm happy you're here.
Yeah, I got my Free Ghislaine shirt because I believe all women.
Is that how you say it?
I think so, yeah.
I thought it was
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine. I thought it was
It
Ghislaine.
might be Ghislaine.
It's Ghislaine.
Do you know?
Oh, look at me. No, I don't.
Ghislaine?
It's Ghislaine.
Ghislaine? That's a ridiculous name.
Yeah.
Her father was a famous MI6 Mossad spy that reportedly used sex operatives to control people. He died being thrown off a yacht in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And, of course, she got caught in that farmhouse on the East Coast. And she was really the pimp over Epstein in a giant sex network ring over scientists that they were compromising so they could control not just government but industry and science. And so that was the master blackmail operation they were running.
And her sisters are big in tech. Like Isabel Maxwell, she has sisters that are in U.S. tech companies. And I think 2 of her sisters were part of the creation of Magellan, which was that big search engine. Like,
really?
So, yeah, they are a very powerful family, and they have all kinds of different operations.
Yeah, her dad was the biggest publisher in England and also the biggest owner of private TV stations in England. And when he died, it turned out he was a front basically for intelligence networks.
Now, let me, right off the bat, say you were telling me about Epstein and this island years ago. You were telling me long before anybody, I think you told me about him before his first arrest.
A long time ago, I talked about how they have these islands, they fly, they compromise children. But I learned all this from Ted Gunderson 20 plus years ago. He was in line to be the FBI director. He was the head of the FBI in Los Angeles. He was a very famous FBI agent. He even ran COINTELPRO against the civil rights movement. He apologized for that before he died in 2011. But he came out, and he was the one that explained to me about how they use these blackmail rings, elements of the CIA, and foreign intelligence groups, and how they would basically make people have sex with children to be part of these clubs and these cults they were setting up. So I knew about all this from Ted Gunderson.
Were they young girls did they tell them these girls were underage, or did they look like they were older? Like this, the Borat movie where they
Giuliani.
Try to set Giuliani up.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, it's very disappointing. Because
They set him up. I saw it, yeah.
they did set him up, but nothing happened. They made it look like Giuliani was jerking off in front of this girl.
He was taking his mic off.
He would have to be the biggest savage on earth to
do that.
jerk off
Yeah.
in that situation.
Right.
And they also said that he inappropriately touched her back. When he touched her back, I am not exaggerating, it was like this.
Right.
It was a couple of light taps on the back while she was close to him, taking off his mic thing. He goes, "Oh, thank you very much, dear." And he goes, I just need your name and your phone number." And then she takes off his mic, and then he leans back, and he's tucking his shirt back.
Because he just pulled the mic off.
Right, but he's lying on the bed to do it. Now,
Right.
if you're an old man, and I'm sure he's probably got a bad back, like, that's probably how you would do it.
But any of us that have had to put the mics on our side and then you put it in your pants, up your shirt, and then you've got to get it out. That's what you do. But it's worse than that. Remember when he was playing who was the gay character he played like 10 years ago? Bruno.
Yeah.
Remember Congressman Ron Paul at the time had run for president. And he's in the hotel. He goes, "Oh, the light broke. Please step into this room." So there's no chair. Ron Paul sits down, and he's reading a newspaper, and Bruno comes in and pulls his pants down and says, "I want to have sex with you." Now, that would be sexual assault if that was a man to a woman.
Right.
Ron Paul pushes him out of the way, goes out of the room. And so this is what he does. He's done it to other people. It's his specialty is to say you're being interviewed.
Yeah,
here it is.
Listen, let me just, before we go any further, I fucking love
He is very
Sacha
funny.
Baron Cohen.
He's a
I love
comic
him.
genius,
I
yeah.
think he's brilliant. I think
Yeah.
he's amazing. But his interpretation of what happened in the room with Rudy Giuliani, it's not accurate, in my opinion.
And
let's go-
listen, I mean, in Who is America?
Like, see, he's
yeah.
he's tapping her while she's touching him and removing his mic. He does this little tap on her waist, but it's not creepy. It's like an old man, like a little tap, tap, tap.
Right.
Like if you want to take it out of context, like I don't know if there's more to it than what
But let's
we're
go
seeing.
further. Let's go further. Right after this happens, Borat, Sacha Baron Cohen, runs in panties and a bra saying, have sex with me. She's 15. She's too old.
Yes.
So this is, and Giuliani's like, what the? I'd have a heart attack. Like, what is this?
Listen, my fucking 12-year-old sense of humor loved it.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is they're making it seem like Giuliani was jerking off in front of her.
Yeah.
And that's not, like, he lies back and he's tucking his pants. Like, if can we show the whole thing so we can look at it? We don't have to.
They put it out as promotional material.
What's that, Jamie?
So we can watch it in here, but
Yeah.
I'll be
Well, let's just.
I mean, I think Jamie's
Let's
right.
just
Because you're a
us.
big show, they'll try to tag you.
Yeah.
But they put this out as promotional material to be promoted. They put it out on Twitter.
The clip is on Miss Pat's. Give a shout out to Miss Pat.
I mean, Jamie's
Comedian
technically
Miss
right,
Pat
though.
On Instagram, it's on her Instagram. If you want to.
But let me drop a bombshell on you, Joe.
Okay, a bombshell.
No. I've been a big fan of Sacha Baron Cohen until I learned he spoke at the ADL last year and called for my arrest for free speech. And he called for Jeff Zuckerberg's arrest, or Mark Zuckerberg's arrest. So he called for my arrest and for Mark Zuckerberg's arrest for free speech.
Hey, he wants to work in Hollywood.
Right.
You got to do what you got to do.
No,
to
but let's
make
go
those movie
further.
deals.
No, I agree. But I mean, he said arrest people for their free speech, and he supports internet censorship. So how does he make his money being this avant-garde, cutting-edge, really, over-the-edge comic that does things that could technically be seen as illegal? I support his free speech, and then he says I don't deserve it.
Well,
that's really
he's-
dangerous.
He's flawed, like many great artists.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm until they come for him, he's not going to understand the slippery slope of censorship. And this is another thing that,
We're gonna get to, yeah.
people have criticized me for being friends with you and for talking to you, and they also criticized me for not supporting a lot of these people that got banned and deplatformed. My take on it has always been the best way to counter wrong speech is correct speech.
Right.
When someone says something that's wrong, or someone says a conspiracy theory that's not accurate, the best way to counter that is to do better speech, to have
Yeah.
people say the accurate information and to let the truth rise to the top. When you start censoring people, the problem is it's a fucking slippery slope. And there's a reason why we've been so steadfast in supporting the First Amendment in this country. And people think it doesn't apply to tech because these tech institutes are private businesses and they should be able to do whatever they want with their private business. The problem is that fucking slippery slope has gone from censoring you, from banning Alex Jones off Twitter a year and a half ago, to getting the White House press secretary banned off Twitter because she posts something from the New York Post, which is
Right.
crazy.
It's crazy.
That's a 200 and whatever year old
America's
newspaper.
oldest newspaper.
And what she said, the post, what they printed and put out there is accurate.
Well, let's go further. They're denying that it's a real story, but they don't ever say the emails are fake. They just say it's a smear. No, it's a real laptop. The videos have been released. It's confirmed. But just think about this.
Well, it is a smear in that they're putting it out there. They're timing it.
Sure, but they're not denying.
make-
But they're not denying it's real.
No, it's real. It's real.
Wait, how did this laptop become this big story?
That's where it gets tricky.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Because supposedly he dropped it off at a
In
laptop
Delaware.
repair shop in Delaware.
What
But
an
also-
idiot. I mean, who's
but
doing
also-
that?
Well, a crackhead.
Right.
The guy's
Good
doing,
point.
The guy's smoking
I
crack.
keep forgetting he smokes crack.
Yeah, well, he
Yes.
did at the time. Apparently,
Yes.
he's kicked it. So
Okay.
congratulations to him. But the guy had some problems. Now,
Right.
this is self-admitted, and also
And they have the receipts. And they here's the thing. He calls him dozens of times. Because everybody knows when you bring a laptop or anything in, they say, if you don't pay for this, we're going to wipe it and sell it. And so 3 months goes by, 6 months goes by, nobody ever comes and gets it. The guy goes to look at it at the repair shop, the owner, and there's all these 25,000 files, what looks like underage girls, and all the rest of this crazy stuff, and him smoking crack or God knows what. He gives it to the FBI. Ray does nothing, the director, hides it from Trump. And so people, let's just say inside that had copies of that, they leak it to Rudolph Giuliani, who then now has started to put it out. So instead of facing up to it, they just say anyone promoting this, whether it's the House or Senate committees that we're linking to it, or the New York Post or the president's press secretary, you're now banned, which again shows it's election meddling. It's gatekeeping to cover this up. But I'll tell you what else has come out now. His daughter, Biden's daughters, reportedly, and they've not denied it now, this broke 3 days ago, left her diary in a house that she had rented. And the diary talks about all the same stuff and everything. And
What the fuck is wrong with
Were
this
you
family?
going to jump in? Hold on a second.
Wait a minute, hold
Jamie?
on.
When I was looking into this, the thing I keep seeing people say is that he lived in California.
He lived in California at the
So
time,
is that,
yeah.
that is true?
That's what I keep reading.
But they
as
fly
well.
back and forth to Delaware. I mean, these are jet setters. They fly to Ukraine.
Well, that also might make sense that's why he didn't go back to Delaware to pick up the laptop. Because when you're cracked out in California, it's really hard to make the flight.
All right.
Right?
I don't know.
Hold on. Tim is the only one here who's probably
guys,
smoked
the
crack.
FBI confirms they have the laptop
I will
now.
confirm it's not an easy flight coming down off cocaine or crack. Yeah.
Have you smoked crack or just
I've never
coke?
free-based cocaine, which
Well,
is
that's basically the
yeah,
same.
it's close.
How close is it?
Not as close as where I ever went and made shady deals in the Ukraine.
Well, that's the
Never
other
done
thing.
that.
By the way,
How
that's in
does
the emails.
Biden-
That's in the emails. Finally, where it's like, yeah, I need 30 million. Part of it goes to the big guy. And they're like, okay, we want to meet with your dad. And there's photos of them meeting and playing golf. So let me tell you, this is real. The FBI has the files. They admit it's real. It's a big deal.
But it's a real problem to ban this stuff from
about this
Twitter.
part of it? Came
Putin
out
rejects
yesterday.
Donald Trump's criticism of Biden family business. Well, because it's Russia's bribing Hunter Biden. and
3.5
bribing-
million through
Yeah.
Putin, through the Moscow mayor who he's friends with, to Hunter Biden again.
Well, if I was Putin, I would deny it too. Listen, Putin has got to love this. If I was Putin sitting back,
Right.
watching these fucking people eat themselves alive and destroy the First Amendment, destroy democracy.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
I'm sure they have a hand in it. I'm sure China has a hand in it. I'm sure Iran has a hand in
Yeah.
it. This is what the intelligence communities have been telling us for a long time now, is that it's not just one foreign company or foreign country that's trying to fuck with our democracy. It's
Yeah, the
multiple.
idea that the Russians have a monopoly on this.
No.
I mean, if the Russians were an NFL football team, they'd be like in the lower third.
And by
I mean,
the-
the U.S. and China are the top teams.
Right.
And we
Right.
should say
Right.
the United States does it too.
Sure.
It's 100% confirmed. The
Sure,
United
the idea
States,
that Russians got Trump in is asinine because here's what happens. Notice they tried to impeach Trump just 9 months ago for stuff in Ukraine because whatever they are worried about, they project. Okay? So Trump doesn't have Russia connections. Trump doesn't have those connections. Trump doesn't have those outside connections. You can't buy him. He doesn't have lobbyists. The problem is he then has family and people around him that basically become lobbyists for themselves, and Trump isn't really even aware of it, and then that's going on. And I mean, even junior aides now, you'll find out, have people giving them millions of dollars just to say something to the president.
is this standard shit? Is this just how politics have always been done? It's just that now we're seeing it.
Well, it was standard, let's say 200 years ago, that you'd go after the wife or the brother or somebody that works at the White House. It got organized the last 100 years with lobbyists. Trump literally cut the lobbyist off. But all it did was now make everyone around him a lobbyist, even though
how
they're
did
not
he cut-
officially a lobbyist.
How did he
Right.
cut the lobbyists off?
He just stopped meeting with them and stopped and just said, I want briefings on what's going on. I'll decide. So that's why he pissed official Washington off. Not that he's even perfect, but that he actually became the president, sort of making decisions himself instead of having consortiums and lobbyists pay him for policy. That's why he says, Biden's raised more money than me. Of course, I can call up all these companies. They'll give me any money I want, but I got to do what they say.
But it would put him in a compromised position.
Yes, but I'm being honest about it. The vacuum and the blind spot is that then everyone around him in his cabinet and everyone that works there, even down to mid-level people, are now getting multi-million-dollar contracts for companies like AT&T and stuff just to even mention something to the
Now,
president.
but hold on, but before you go any further, you said AT&T. Has it been proven that it's AT&T, or are you just saying AT&T like companies, like
Let's
large
just say,
companies?
I'm not saying AT&T is bad. I think AT&T is overall a good
So,
company.
but is AT&T doing something bad?
No, I was mentioning that as a Fortune 500 company.
Okay, but it's not AT&T.
No, it's not AT&T.
So we shouldn't say that. See, this is why you need someone that's like a fact checker right
well,
next
no,
to you.
no.
Going, slow down.
The media will say I'm wrong
right.
about that, but okay.
Okay, but
no, hold on. His personal lawyer, the one that ended up going to jail, actually,
Michael Cohen.
Michael Cohen was getting money from AT&T. Go ahead and pull it up. I mean, I was just trying to give you a gestalt, quick analysis.
But I just want to. I've told you before, what you really need on your show is like a legit journalist who's right next to you with a laptop going, Alex, hold on, just slow down.
But I think you're right about that because
you get so much right, but
Yeah.
when you get something wrong, that's what people
what you gotta understand is
AT&T confirms it paid Trump lawyer Michael Cohen's company.
Yeah. No, I remember that.
See, Joe,
Yeah.
they're always saying that I'm making stuff
Right,
up. They're lying.
right.
Now, every once in a while, my memory used to be photographic, but from everything I've done, it's not as good as it used to be. It moves really quick, okay? So when I'm saying stuff, it's just data knowledge, okay? And then I can okay, yeah, did I say that? Yeah, it's real. Check it out. But I'm not trying to make stuff up 99% of the time.
Here it is. AT&T confirmed Tuesday evening that paid President Trump's personal lawyer Michael Cohen in 2017 for, in quotes, insights into understanding the new administration.
Insights.
I love that. So how much they pay him? $200,000 in 4 separate payments of $50 in late 2017, early 2018. Interesting.
Yeah, but he got paid. I think the number was $10 million total from a handful of companies.
But
and
look
by
how
the way,
they did
AT&T
it. They did it shady. Look, Avenatti alleged that Essential Consultants, a shell company set up by Cohen before the election to pay Stormy Daniels, was paid by several corporations, including AT&T. At the time, AT&T was seeking government approval for its acquisition of Time Warner, CNN's parent company.
It's a merger.
It's a dirty world.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, AT&T is a sweetheart compared to Google and Facebook and Twitter and all these people. So I wasn't attacking them. I was giving you an example of how everyone in his entourage becomes a lobbyist because he thinks, I'll just cut lobbyists off. He's not taking any money. But then everyone around him becomes a lobbyist. That's what
Do you worry about the influence that people like Jared Kushner have? Because I know that a lot of his supporters, like Ann Coulter, who's Trump's biggest supporter, goes, I don't love the idea that he hired his children and that they have a lot of connections.
I can tell you this. I can tell you this. People were really pissed who were patriots of the intelligence community and in other areas, but also enemies of Trump, that Kushner had so much influence. But now Kushner's gotten a lot of respect because he's actually gotten a lot of huge peace deals done that nobody else could do for 50 years. And now
interesting how little press those peace deals have
they're
got.
getting none. Yeah. No press.
Yeah, it's really concerning.
So now, I mean, they were pissed, like, who's this kid? And now everything he touches turns to gold.
But he looks like the Omen. We've covered this.
He looks like a little devilish.
He looks like Damien.
And he paid twice what it was worth for like 666 Park Avenue.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's not good.
That's not great.
Why would
That's
he want
not great.
that? Why would he want that?
I think it was more than twice. Look up 666. Is it Park Avenue? Or
Listen,
Maybe he just
he's
thinks it's funny.
Maybe he's a Satanist. He's getting good deals done in the Middle East.
Yeah, I mean,
he's getting good deals.
They say the Antichrist gets good deals in the Middle East.
If you're going to be a Luciferian, at least make peace in the Mideast.
Like
How about that? Maybe Satan's the only one that can do that.
AT&T's a really good cell phone company.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey. It's the way it works.
I mean, you want to...
When I mentioned AT&T, it's an example that popped in my head of an unofficial lobbying.
Well, I was happy that we called you on it because then we found out it's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, you've been correct about a lot of shit. This is my point from jump. I found out about agent provocateurs from you, from your 9/11 Road to Tyranny video, where they used them at the World Trade Organization protests in Seattle in the late 90s. Like, I had no idea that it was a common practice to send in masked people to start smashing things during peaceful protests,
right,
so then they could go
By the way, I can give you the straight dope on Antifa if you want to do that. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. 666 Park Avenue project had been a black hole of cash for years until a sovereign wealth fund made a substantial investment for the property after Kushner was already serving as Trump's top advisor in the White House. Wow.
Okay. Might be a nice building, though.
What does it say? The Kushner Company? Is that what his company's called?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Kushner
his dad
Company's
went to
previously
prison.
found himself. The Kushner Company's 666 Park Avenue project. That's hilarious. I think that's beautiful.
His dad went to prison for, I believe, setting up his brother with like a prostitute or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
What?
Yeah, they're a fun family, the Kushners.
Wait a minute. The dad set up the brother
with a prostitute, with a call girl, and take them and try to entrap.
Step by step. We're going to fact check every one of these.
No, this
things.
is well known.
I understand, but we need to have this for the
people like me and Alex. Don't just spout off. We have the facts.
I know you have the facts, but I want to make sure. Here, Chris Christie, Jared Kushner's father, committed one of the most loathsome, disgusting crimes I prosecuted. Wow.
Listen, we fact check all of this.
That is crazy. Make that bigger for my old eyes. Look at this. Where does it say? According to the excerpts in the book, republished by Axios and The Guardian, Christie claims the younger Kushner was behind his departure from Trump's inner circle after the 2016 election, writing that he was still apparently seething over the events that had occurred a decade ago. Well, what is the events of a decade ago?
They over-prosecuted his dad. He should have gotten probation for trying to set up his brother with a hooker. Said he got a bunch of time.
Imagine your dad setting you up with a hooker.
It's crazy.
They're trying to set the other family member up.
Here's what. If my father is guilty, I would. Mr. Kushner pled guilty. He admitted the crimes, Christie said. And so what am I supposed to do as a prosecutor? I mean, if a guy hires a prostitute to seduce his brother-in-law. Oh, it's his brother-in-law.
That's what he said.
His brother-in-law.
His brother-in-law.
Okay. I got confused. And then videotapes it and then sends the videotape to his sister to attempt to intimidate her from testifying before a grand jury. Do I really need any more justification than that? Holy shit, what a bad
but it
guy.
wasn't to intimidate. That's his interpretation. Yeah. That stuff goes on divorces all the time. People go videotape the other person cheating.
So
that's why it was wrong he went to prison, because he wasn't doing it. He was doing that to show that the person testifying was wrong. Of course you're trying to influence testimony with the truth. It's this idea that, yes, they're cheating. I told you they were. Here's the proof. How does that become fraud?
Okay, I'm confused. So he set up his brother-in-law with a prostitute
to show that this was been going on before, which he'd already alleged.
Okay, as part of the plot, Kushner hired a prostitute to lure Shoulder into having sex in a Bridgewater, New Jersey motel room. First of all, if you find yourself in a Bridgewater, New Jersey motel room,
you're fucked.
Run. As the hidden, as the hidden camera rolls, a tape of the encounter was then sent to Kushner's sister and Shoulder's wife.
I know the whole
Esther.
story, so just trust us.
We try. I just made a comment that you start thinking about like who's running these stories, and then Hunter Biden's running around with underage people on the laptop. You start going, why does everyone work for a Ukrainian gas company? Like, who are these people running the country?
Yeah,
It's
the
a
West
little
controlled
strange.
Ukraine, so they just use that as the money laundering op. It's not the Ukrainians running us.
Right.
They use it as that. But let's expand on this, Joe. What I'm getting at here is, I didn't bring up AT&T. They're a good company overall. They're not the ones censoring and stuff. Okay, it's the big tech. The reason I raised that was just the one that popped in my head, the first one. It's massive what's going on. I was just being honest that Trump's tried
only
to...
a couple $100,000. Like, I mean, as much as that sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah, but the bigger ones, like he's talking about
Communist
Google,
China.
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Communist China's even bigger.
Okay.
It's bigger than big tech. It literally spends hundreds of billions of dollars buying us off. It owns Hollywood. It owns a lot of the big telecoms. It owns the majority of our debt. And I've got articles in the LA Times and New York Times I brought for you where they say Xi Jinping must destroy Trump to save America. He was our leader. And then at the Davos group, he said 3 years ago, I will destroy Trump. I will work with Hollywood. I've got all his quotes right here. And Xi Jinping said, I want to overthrow American democracy. I want to repudiate it. I want to discredit it. And Xi Jinping admits he admires Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin.
Okay, but isn't he doing
That's
that because
crazy.
That seems crazy.
Yeah.
You can pull it up.
I understand.
I'll show you.
Step by step here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't he doing that because of Trump's trade deals? Like the trade deals that Trump wants to do with China are not nearly...
Well, they're not one-sided for him. I
Right.
mean, here's what happened. Special interests in the U.S. went in and opened up China, in the 70s when most of them didn't have running water or electricity. They're hardworking, smart folks. But by one-sided trade deals where we have higher tariffs on them than they on us and all the rest of it, or vice versa, through those deals, they use the slave labor of China to then take over manufacturing worldwide. And so China's a client state of the globalist. And so now... the Washington Post, the LA Times, the New York Times, I brought you the articles here. Dreams of Red Emperor, the relentless rise of Xi Jinping. And it says in these articles, he must destroy American Western Christian values. We love him and we accept China as our master. I have the goddamn articles.
Right, but who's
this
saying-
is treason.
but-
The
okay,
freaking
but
dude
who's
right
saying
here.
that? Who's
Washington
saying that?
Post.
But who's saying that quote? Who's that quote?
Here, I'll give them to you. This is the Washington Post. And there's a huge article, LA Times.
I understand, but the quote that you just said about he must destroy
Just
Trump.
like I said, AT&T gave money to unofficially lobbying, and you pulled it up. I read the article. I'm not giving you an exact.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm asking you is who you quoted someone, but who did you quote when you said that?
I'm quoting from when I read these again this morning before I came here.
Right.
What I remember, David Durley.
Oh, that guy.
And this Chinese lady that works.
I think
for
he's talking about the prevailing sentiment of what they feel they must do.
I understand, but when you quote somebody, it's best.
No. I
to
mean, I just said in these articles.
Right.
Well, look at the headline: Xi's choice: destroy Trump or save him from weakened America. I mean,
Right.
Xi needs to destroy Trump. The Chinese dictator needs to destroy our president.
So, do you think that they're doing that because Trump wants to change the trade deals?
You know
with
what
China?
Trump said? Trump didn't start a trade war. He ended our surrender. We have been surrendered for 40 years with China, where they don't take our goods, but we take all of theirs. And they manipulate their currency, but we haven't manipulated ours. Where we have carbon taxes that Obama put in to shut down over half our coal plants that are clean. And our electricity prices went up where you could not run a factory here competitively against China. So when Joe Biden says we're going to cut off all the fossil fuels, not just fracking,
Right.
if you did that, we wouldn't just go bankrupt. We'd starve to death. 75% of our power comes from fossil fuels.
I understand. Let's step by step again.
Okay.
Are coal plants really clean?
100% clean.
How is that possible?
I'll tell you.
Please.
Okay, there's two different types of major power plants.
When he says clean coal, I roll my eyes every time. When Trump's like clean coal, clean,
Well, that's because the engine
Amazing.
is so damn good.
is it?
I'll tell you.
Please.
They had old-fashioned coal plants. China doesn't have one scrubber or filter on their coal power plants. And China doesn't have clean-burning coal. There's one place in the United States that has major deposits of coal that is such pure carbon. You don't even need scrubbers. Nothing comes out but carbon dioxide and water. Well, we know water's not bad, so they list carbon dioxide. People think it's monoxide. Just like in studies, if you say the scientific name of water, most people in Penn and Teller skits on the street will say banned dihydrogen monoxide. If you go out on the street, Joe Rogan, and ask 100 Austinites, dihydrogen monoxide is everywhere. If you get too much of it, you can die, drowned. And most people will say, I want to ban dihydrogen monoxide. That's the scientific name of water. Same thing if you do the scientific name of salt. Sounds scary. Well, so hydrogen monoxide is the bad one. Hydrogen dioxide is the good one. That's the life cycle. On Earth, there's light, there's water, there's oxygen, and there's carbon dioxide. Those are the four things you got to have for life. And so they've gotten people convinced to say coal is dirty. It puts out carbon dioxide and water vapor. And so until about the 70s, we were still burning dirty coal full of mercury, all of it. They found huge deposits of clean burning coal out west, enough in Utah to run the whole world for over 1,000 years.
Well, what's the difference between the coal?
Well, let me tell you.
Please.
One coal is so damn pure, and it's only in the United States in major deposits, that basically you don't even need to put scrubbers on it. But our scientists in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, because they realized that dirty coal has mercury in it, has all these horrible toxins, they put scrubbers on it. That's why when you drive by a coal plant, it's this big, huge buildings and wires and hoses and big, huge steel. Looks like an alien spaceship. That's because it's called distillates. They know how to burn it and then take off all the chemicals, all the toxins, and make plastics and make chemicals and make pesticides and make everything else that comes out of that. And then out of the stack comes nothing but water. They have sensors on it. Nothing but water and carbon dioxide. Totally clean, totally pure. So that's what's going on.
So carbon monoxide is what everybody's worried about. Carbon dioxide increasing in the environment has no negative effects?
Well, let's talk about it.
Please.
They've done ice core samples, okay, all over the Antarctic and the Arctic. They've done mud core samples in all over the world, but mainly in Siberia and Wales for some reason.
Jamie, I hope you're Googling.
I haven't got some decent stuff to pull up, but he's
Go ahead. Yeah.
better right now.
So what happens is they can go back 20,000, 100,000, 200,000 years, at least in the ice, and they know that they've also done spectrometers into stone. They can scan it till it was there. Carbon dioxide was over 500 times stronger in the time of the T-Rex. Okay, in the Jurassic Age. That's why plants grew so fast, things were so big. There was a higher oxygen level. Just like Mars lost its atmosphere, it used to have an ocean, they've now gone and proven. It lost its atmosphere. It's a smaller planet, couldn't hold it. Truth is, the Earth's losing its atmosphere. So what's crazy is we come right along at this time, pump up all of this juice and all this carbon that was produced on the surface with plants and animals that ran down in cracks into the Earth. We're now pumping out all that carbon saved from millions of years ago and actually terraforming the planet, putting more carbon dioxide in that we actually need right at this time, like aliens figure this out or something.
But hold please. isn't carbon dioxide responsible for an increase in the temperature of the Earth?
But they said that we would have a 7 increase. They said that by 2013, all that LA would be flooded and New York would be flooded. All that's lies.
Okay, but let's forget about what they said in the past. What they're saying now is that carbon dioxide increase is responsible for an increase in the temperature of the Earth.
Which we hope it does, because
we hope it increases the
we're
temperature
set.
of the Earth.
The last ice age.
Hold on.
Joe,
the
the last
increase of
ice
the
age.
temperature,
listen.
but the increase in the temperature of the Earth is responsible for the increase in hurricanes, the frequency and the power of the hurricanes.
If you look up the spectrum in the last 100 years, hurricanes have gotten weaker. That's all media hype. But let me just tell you,
Oh Jesus!
Joe, I swear to God, I can prove all this to you. This is so huge for your audience.
Are you a carbon dioxide salesman?
Listen, well, they always say I'm getting money from oil companies. I'm not. But can I please tell you what's going on?
Yes, please do.
You are a carbon-based life form. Let me show you what I came here with in my notes. I have right here in my notes the carbon conspiracy. And that is specifically what I wanted to get into here with you in my notes, because this is everything.
Are you a climate change denier?
Well, see, imagine how that's how they use that term.
Right.
Are you a climate change denier? It's like a 9/11 denier.
Right.
No, the towers got blown up. Our government had prior warning and had been funding Al Qaeda, and all that came out later in Senate reports and the 28 pages.
Let's not go there just now, because we're going to go down a rabbit hole.
That's true, but let's go to carbon. I agree with you there.
Okay, what is Joe Rogan made up out of?
Carbon.
Okay.
Carbon-based life form. We are literally stardust. That's a song, right?
Exactly. What are trees made out of?
Tree stuff.
Carbon.
Yeah, but carbon-based life forms. It's most of
The
the things
whole
on the
planet. And so this is the carbon cycle. This is in the mainline textbooks.
I understand.
So just like they come out and assault reality now and say a little boy is biologically a girl. I don't care if he grows up wants to say he's
Again,
a girl.
rabbit hole. Let's not go down these
But I'm
rabbit holes.
saying it's not science. They go, the science is settled. There's not two genders.
Okay.
Fucking S.
Okay, hold on. Let's not go down that road. If you want to go down that road in the future, we will.
No,
but right
I'll
now,
do it. I'll do it. Let me tell you.
I want you to talk about carbon.
I know.
I don't want to get off track here,
will-
because isn't there a delicate balance with the temperature on Earth and the rising sea levels and the melting of the ice caps? This has all been established by a lot of
they
very
say the science is settled. It's not.
But very concerned environmentalists have said that an increase in the temperature of the Earth could be disastrous for human civilization.
It's a power grab.
Are you sure it's a power grab?
I am absolutely.
But how do you know that it's not all? How do you know that?
Because they're arrogant and they've all written white papers on it that I've read and I can give you.
White papers?
Yeah, it's not what you see in the news. They're called white papers. And Joe,
This is why people get banned from the internet. These kind of conversations.
We better ban it right now.
Let's not ban it. I'll throw that out. Let's just not.
Certainly not ban the
don't have to
Tim
ban it.
Dillon
Listen,
YouTube page. Which
let me
is
tell you the story.
Fantastic, by the way.
What?
Your YouTube page.
Thank you.
Let me tell you this right now.
It'll be up for another
They
24
have
hours.
called in the European Union for the arrest of scientists that question the cause of anthropogenic warming or if it's man-made.
Okay, but there is a contributing factor. Scientifically, it's been proven that increased carbon dioxide has an effect on the temperature of the Earth. Do you agree with that?
It depends on the models they use. Sometimes actually more carbon dioxide can cause a cooling effect, but generally can cause a heating effect. It depends on potash in the atmosphere, volcanic ejections at the time, and also solar maximum and minimums.
if you had-
sunspot activity is the main generator of planetary climate.
But if you had a giant swath of scientists that are examining carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, would you agree that the majority of them believe that it's a contributing factor to the warming of the Earth?
It's a mantra where they say the majority of scientists agree that climate change is caused by humans. I agree with climate change. The only thing that's constant is change. Of course the climate's changing. What I'm telling you is carbon dioxide was 50 to 500 times, depending on the time period, higher millions of years ago than it is now.
Right, but you also realize that was
What do you
before we
think?
got hit
This
by
might
an
be interesting
asteroid.
to hear. What do you think the motivation is for them to present the evidence in this way? Like you said, this is a fraud and everything. What? Because I've heard you talk about this before. What do you think their goal is by linking all of this climate change to man-made activity? What's the goal?
The goal is a centralized world government that can then monitor all carbon and control it as a toxic bad thing. Your carbon, it makes you bad. That didn't work, so now it's, oh, you have a cold, you're dirty with COVID. We've got to track you and tax you and control you. So the new thing is COVID to cut the carbon footprint, and they admit that.
Before we go down the COVID rabbit hole, the environmentalists are not in bed with the industrialists. The environmentalists they're not in bed with all these people that think that they can control the world's.
Actually, BP and ExxonMobil and others are the biggest funders of the climate change movement.
They're the biggest funders of it.
Contrary to what you hear.
How so?
All right, Joe, here's the thing. I understand this is, and you're a smart guy, and I understand you want to go over each piece of this. Let's go through.
Yeah, well, we have to. We have to.
I agree. Let's go through each piece.
But understand. You understand that the way you talk, and I enjoy the way you talk.
It's fast.
But the way you talk is fast, and you go on these long tangents, and then you go to frogs being gay, and a lot of things happen. I want to do
people
it.
can, because I'm putting a record out.
Yes, but I want to do it step by step.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this.
But most people, the vast majority, here we got here. BP commits $100 million to fund new emissions reductions projects.
But let me just go back for a second.
Okay.
And I appreciate you backing me up.
Yes.
Let me break down.
Are frogs gay?
You want to get to the frog stuff now?
Connect it all.
That is, by the way.
Why do I feel like I'm stoned and I haven't smoked any pot?
Yeah. I wish I
If
was
he's not
stoned.
going to smoke it, I'm going to.
God, it's sober October. I have 6
break
days
the
left.
goddamn rule and then
can't-
go an extra day.
I cannot. I'm like George Washington.
Well,
in
hey, on
Cherry
election
Tree.
night, we're going to get hammered, right?
Election night, I'm getting hammered.
But I'm going to pop in.
You can pop in. But we've told everybody now that we're doing a live
No,
election
we're
night
not.
show. Kyle,
Yeah.
Kyle Kalinske,
That's-
Tim Dillon,
Yeah.
me, Alex Jones going to pop in live.
It's going to be fun.
It's live. So while you're watching the world
Yeah.
burn live, yeah.
All right, Joe, here's the
gonna be
thing. It's just like, let me explain it to you because I love you. And, dude, it's just like when you said, what's the AT&T deal? And I went, oh, look it up.
But listen, we did look it up and we found
This
some
is bigger.
information.
This is bigger. Okay. Let me get my brain focused here for a minute. Let me just try to explain it.
Do.
I've literally interviewed probably, let's not exaggerate, 200 top scientists, from petroleum geologists to astrophysicists to astronauts to quantum mechanics to petroleum.
Buckle up, because I have two.
I know.
I'm a moron.
I know.
Okay?
You're a moron?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah, trust me.
Joe, you're a smart guy, and I'm not. That's his cover. He is smart. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I'm a smart moron.
Yeah, right. Okay, let me tell you what's going on. I'm going to say it again. You can go to any major study, just type in carbon dioxide levels were hundreds of times higher in Earth's early past.
Well, I understand that, but also I understand
but
that there was the...
wait. You can look at the ocean models then.
Yes.
You can look at the ocean models.
Right.
And it's true, the oceans did cover more
Yeah,
than
but
they do now.
Alex Jones, human beings weren't alive 65 million years ago, and the environment wasn't compatible for us.
We put out a fraction. Well, we hadn't developed yet.
Right, we were moles.
We had, shrews.
Shrews, yeah.
But my point is, you're right.
Yeah.
Is that
Last time CO2 was this high, humans didn't exist. The last time there was as much carbon dioxide, CO2 in the earth, CO2 levels are far higher now than they have been for any time during the past. And oil, a single CO2 molecule can remain in the atmosphere. What'd you do?
That was just repeating parts of it.
Oh, I see. I understand. Oh, okay. So let's just go to what this says. And what is this paper that's is this climatecentral.org? Okay. The last time there was this much carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere, modern humans didn't exist. Megatooth sharks prowled the oceans, blah, blah, blah. All right. As we near the record for the highest CO2 concentrations in human history, 400 parts per million, climate scientists worry about where we were then and where we're rapidly headed now, according to the data gathered by Mauna Loa Observatory in Hawaii, dope spot. The 400 ppm mark may briefly be exceeded this month when CO2 typically hits a seasonal peak.
sure? And I've had top scientists on. I've had climatologists on about the Keeling curve. I can tell you all this.
Threshold, according to Ralph Keeling, the researcher. Carbon dioxide is the most important long-lived global warming gas, and once it's emitted by burning fossil fuels,
It helps us keep our atmosphere.
Hold please. once it's emitted by burning fossil fuels such as coal and oil, a single CO2 molecule can remain in the atmosphere for hundreds of years. Global CO2 emissions reached a record high of 35.6 billion tons in 2012, up 2.6% from 2011. Carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases warm the planet by absorbing the sun's energy and preventing heat from escaping back into space, which means it enhances the atmosphere, right?
But the sea levels didn't go up like they said.
Well, aren't they melting? But it's a process.
Al Gore said by 2013.
Al Gore.
Okay, Joe, but listen, this is one guy's take.
I know,
I've
but
read
Al
the
Gore's
science.
out there flying around.
I know. You found a guy admitting that it used to be higher than it is now. I'm telling you, it used to be way higher than it is now. This is
Right, but then the asteroid hit the Yucatan, killed all the dinosaurs, and changed the entire atmosphere
I don't want to
of the planet.
with a dark winter
Yeah, it was very bad for everything.
caused by
right?
atmospheric dust.
For a long fucking time, right?
One major volcano, like Mount St. Helens, they estimated, put out more dust than decades of human dust.
Yes.
And human dust is what helps cause nuclei to form to cause storms. So we are affecting our environment. But most of the astrophysicists and most of the physicists I've talked to, and most of the climatologists I've talked to, they have broken down that the sun, by magnitude, is 98% of the driver of what happens. That's why when the sunspots take place, it's an coronal ejection from the sun, and one of those shoots radiation in our direction, it'll be clear blue sky, but they know when we get hit by that, it hits our magnetic field and causes an ionization of the atmosphere and electrification of it, and so that causes the giant storms. So the main driver of climate is the sun. And I think everybody, doesn't be a scientist to know, what's the main thing that Earth's living off of?
The sun.
The sun. And so they're telling us that carbon dioxide does this. What happens is carbon dioxide goes up, they said can be in the atmosphere for hundreds of years. It's normally absorbed by plants immediately, who they've got studies. They have found giant crocodile skeletons from just 10,000 years ago in the central Sahara, when hundreds of square miles is nothing but dunes. 10,000 years ago, it was lush jungles and beautiful, but they had goats, and they ate all of the plants and
Well,
killed
there's
the rest.
also the Younger Dryas theory of asteroid impacts that they ended the ice age.
12,000 years ago.
Yeah, 2 impacts. I believe there's 12, and then somewhere between.
But the
11
answer
and
is we
12.
don't know. And so they've now looked at all these big models saying that it's all carbon dioxide, and it's not. It's the sun, it's asteroids, it's tectonic, it's electromagnetic
I
from the Earth's
understand all
core.
this, but isn't CO2 emissions the one thing that we can control? So human-created global warming gases like CO2 emissions, if we can put a cap on that, wouldn't you agree?
Let me ask you a
that
question.
If we continue to put that stuff in the atmosphere, and it continues to get higher and higher and higher levels of CO2 in the atmosphere, wouldn't
This
that
is going to make the studies show it's going to make deserts become green again, and plants are going to absorb the carbon.
What studies are these?
You can look them up.
Okay, let's find out.
And that's why the
Can you
left
point
even
to one?
says-
But if you're going to say something like that, and I'm not arguing with you, but if you are going to say something like that, that's a very bold thing to say. You should probably not just say look them up. There should be something.
No,
you
let's
can
type it
point
in.
to.
Let's type it in. There's hundreds of them. I actually brought like over
But
50 articles right
but
here.
Do you have something that you've read that makes you so confident that you can say this?
I actually know what the plant studies show, where in greenhouses they grow plants with higher carbon dioxide, and plants can grow up to 3 times faster. They live longer.
Of course, plants
But
live
let's expand.
off carbon dioxide.
And then what do they put out more? Oxygen.
Well, this one thing that has been proven is that there's more plants now than there have been in a long fucking
There's a
time.
global greening
because-
happening,
Yes.
countering us losing our atmosphere up until this point. The Earth has less atmosphere than it did a million years ago, and it's like God did this or something, where we discovered all this oil, or it's just blind luck that we are terraforming the planet back to an earlier, healthier state by taking ancient carbon that was under the ground and putting it back into the atmosphere.
But isn't the problem that along the way we're also increasing the temperature of the planet, and we are not aligned with a higher temperature? We're aligned
Here's
with the
truth.
temperature
We
that
don't
currently
know.
exists.
We don't know. But in 1963, the Club of Rome came up with a limits to growth plan. And they had models and actuaries, and I have copies of this in my film Endgame. Seminal film, it's free online. Endgame Blueprint for Global Enslavement predicts a virus release to lock things down. Everything's now happening because it's their own documents. And in the 1963 Limits to Growth Club of Rome plan, they said, we believe there'll be a global ice age by 2020 because the last ice age ended about 12,000 years ago, and we're set for that. We're going to tell the public that actually carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is bouncing solar radiation off the Earth, because we've seen volcanoes cause this darkening effect and freezing. So we believe, our scientists believe, that carbon dioxide is going to make the Earth freeze by 2020. And so we've got to have a global regime to take control of all the factories and all the energy and put a tax in for global government in the name of stopping the ice age. Then by about 1987, they went, actually, we think it's going to heat up instead. So they flipped the propaganda. Ask anybody you know.
Okay, but don't you understand that science back then didn't have as much data as they have now? So their models and what they had predicted in 1963 is faulty compared to the information they have in 2020.
Yeah, just like Fauci said, 2.5 million would be dead
But again,
from COVID. It was 200-some-thousand.
But worldwide, what is it?
Worldwide, tuberculosis killed 20 million people, 1.4 million here last year, but nobody cares.
Kill?
Yeah.
Well, COVID killed a lot of people.
COVID's not even killed a
worldwide.
million worldwide.
What?
Not even a million worldwide.
No, is that true?
Yep.
Come on.
Yep.
Well, how do we know?
Oh, we use UN models. Again, they're our boss. Since when did the WHO say the lockdown has to go on? Now they go, oh, we're against the lockdown. Your nation states that it's their fault because they know millions are starving to death from the lockdown.
That is true and very underreported.
Yeah.
That the WHO has now come out against lockdown, saying that the reaction can't be a worse effect than the actual disease
So
itself.
let me back Alex up with the climate change.
Please.
It's like there's certainly, we are contributing to man-made global warming, but also, what are you going to do? What are we going to do?
I don't know. What's
You know,
going on?
I mean, that's
Can
the other
can I
question.
pause
It's like,
for a
what are we
second?
gonna do?
Why does his mic sound weird? Is it he's hot? Is he on it, or is it how I'm hearing it? I'm hearing like a breakup of his mic.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds
does?
fine to me, yeah.
That's weird. Okay, I'm sorry. It must be me.
Jamie's really low. You sound great. He sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the climate control? Because that's very interesting. Like the idea of using climate to because, as you said with COVID, and we talked about this, we give up a lot of rights, right, in the name of coronavirus.
Exactly. Look, there's real issues. We don't really know what's going on. They want to be able to track all carbon and tax it with a AI surveillance grid with a social credit score over it.
Yeah.
And they admit all of that. That's
Yeah.
Joe. They tell us what
Okay,
they're going to do.
I understand that, but do you understand that the environmentalists who are concerned are not there's a giant amount of them that are legitimately concerned that we're ruining the earth.
Yes, I
with
understand the greenhouse
with
effect.
fossil fuels.
I understand the greenhouse effect.
But these people, the reason why they're acting, the reason why they're trying to get people on electric cars and trying to get people off of fossil fuels, hold it, please. They're legitimately concerned. Like, I don't believe that these actual environmentalists.
Sure,
are
I
in
agree
on
with
some
you, but I mean, here's the deal:
global
the new
conspiracy.
Hummer looks badass. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. But I'm not getting one because I don't want to contribute to global warming.
You don't want to contribute to global.
Listen, be serious. Did you know that on average more carbon is spent for electricity into a car than 93 octane gasoline?
Well, I would believe that because I would think it takes a lot to make a fucking electric car. But once the car's made...
No. Transmission lines. You lose up to half of transmission, and most of it's coal-powered, brother.
So most
Per
of the electricity...
megawatt, it's more.
So when I'm plugging my Tesla in, and I think, because that's how I like to think, I'm a good guy. I'm plugging my Tesla in. I'm helping save the world. I'm not, because I'm contributing to power.
No, you're contributing to putting carbon dioxide back in and oxygen and re-terraforming the planet. You're doing a badass job. The biggest energy guzzlers, electric cars, are badass. They are putting out more carbon than anybody. Yeah, they don't come out the tailpipe. They come out the power plant top. Woo!
Okay, but what about...
I love electric cars. Carbon.
Listen.
Yeah, team carbon. Carbon.
How do you feel about...
carbon?
Okay, how do you feel about nuclear power?
I absolutely hate it.
Why do you hate it? Isn't it clean?
94. Joe, I'm not trying to tear you up.
Don't tear me up. I don't know anything. I told you I'm a moron.
No. I used to be for nuclear power.
Oh, what happened?
Actually, did research.
What research did you do?
They're always saying it's totally clean, no problem. But then you can look at the UN's own numbers, which I believe, International Atomic Energy Agency. Look this up, CBS News. 94% of nuclear plants are leaking at dangerous levels. Look this up.
Pause. Jamie, 94% of nuclear power plants are leaking at dangerous levels. Isn't the problem that we're using old tech like Fukushima?
Now you see you're smart.
Yeah.
And I'm not just, you always know everything, Joe. The average power plant age is 36 years. Almost all these power plants the life is 20 to 35 years. Fukushima was already a decade older than it was supposed to be, a General Electric model. using plutonium.
Radioactive leaks found at 75% of U.S. nuke sites.
Yeah, it's worse than that. It's 94%.
Okay, well that's not good.
I don't know why 94 doesn't pop up. That's in the UN
But
report.
wouldn't it be possible with innovation that they currently have access to?
Yes,
to
yes,
make
yes.
nuclear
But
power
you talk about
plants?
corrupt companies. I don't listen. If people actually ran these right, and the executives, here's an example: BP. I think oil's great. It has toxic problems. We should clean it up. We should find alternatives. There's all sorts of clean energy we should go to that isn't. Solar's great. Whatever. They've got fission, fusion, a bunch of stuff coming down. Take one of the best films out there because it's so accurate. Because I had lawyers on from I read the transcript of the trial. The Event Horizon with BP. They literally have all these degreed engineers out there, and BP calls them up from England to Houston and says, you're spending $25 million a day on this super deep experimental well. We've decided to not pour concrete, they call it mud, in on top this. The executives say we'll save $25 million a day if you dump water. And all the engineers went, we have mathematical equations, just like water boils at a certain amount. Okay, or we have a certain number of chromosomes. This is fact.
Yeah.
And they, on record, go, you're fired if you don't. Order them to dump water into it. So they follow the order, dump water in for 5 days, and it blows up because water didn't have enough pressure to hold what was going to be coming out when they finally hit that giant oil and gas deposit down there at 20,000 feet under the ground or whatever it was. Super deep well. It was deeper than that. So you watch that movie with Kirk Russell and the rest of it, and Marky Mark.
Wasn't Event Horizon the one where they find?
I'm sorry, Event Horizon's where they go.
Yeah, Event Horizon is a spaceship.
Yeah, that's
That's
the
what
one
I'm
where
sorry.
they
Hey, see,
go.
I'm
to
trying
the
to remember
wormhole,
oil in
and
Event Horizon. I'm like, wait a minute.
Lawrence
what?
Fishburne, right?
Here's
Yeah,
my
I think.
They go to hell.
here's my
Yeah.
brain.
Deepwater
Deepwater
Horizon. Yeah,
Horizon.
but pull up
Okay.
Event Horizon because that's a great fucking movie.
I love that movie. It's like they go into
Yeah, it's a
hell,
good
they
one.
go into a new
It's a
dimension.
good one. Also
Sam-
about BP.
But see how my brain
Sam-
got that wrong? It was not on purpose.
No, it's okay. Event. That's the shit. He pulls his eyeballs out. He tells everybody. Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
That's a great fucking movie. Pure evil.
But listen, I'm not trying to rant here. What I'm telling you, Joe,
love
is it's the same thing with nuclear power plants. Why would the executives at BP order their engineers to do something that was going to blow up? They just said, you engineers are full of crap.
Do you
We're going to
think
make
that they
money.
might just be arrogant engineers on Adderall and they made a big mistake?
Well, no. Yeah, that's what
Could
happened.
be. Could be.
That's what happened.
That is what happened?
Well,
Well, those guys are probably tweaked out, right? Those executives.
what I'm saying, it
They're
wasn't
probably working
engineers. It
16
was
hours
the
a day.
executives.
Yeah, but executives. That's what I'm saying.
Why do you think they were like, keep pouring water in it, keep pouring water in it?
Because they were insane.
Right.
I mean,
okay.
that's what I'm saying about
Okay,
these nuclear...
so the engineers are at the mercy of these executives who don't have the degrees the engineers have, and they made a crucial error, and they forced the engineers to do something that was ultimately
And so I was
devastating.
agreeing with you about we should listen to scientists and engineers. I was just going back to your point that yeah, we don't know about the warming. We don't know what it's doing. The models they all use on warming factor out the sun.
Right.
And you can't factor out the sun in an equation. I've had other scientists that factor the sun in, and they think, despite all we're doing, that within the next 200 years we're going to a very serious deep ice age.
I think Alex's point is that in all of these things, there are legitimate things. COVID has there are real things. People are getting sick. Global warming, to an extent, I'm sure is happening. Of course, it's happening. But then there are also nefarious characters that want to use that to take away your freedom. There are people that don't want you owning a car. There's all these legacy systems. Whitney Webb, who's a journalist who came on my show, said a lot of people didn't want to reopen the economy until they remade the economy and got rid of all these legacy systems. And this is a doc with Eric Schmidt, who was the head of Google, and you can look it up. And they were saying, they were considering these legacy systems like cash, private ownership of cars, things like that, like getting rid of all of these things that are distinctly American ways of life, and just saying that, we don't want you to own a car.
This is the most important thing that's been said here today.
Okay.
That's what it's in my notes.
That's why I'm here.
One step at a time, though. Why would they want to get rid of private ownership of cars?
Because they want control of people, and if you allow them to drive their own cars and use cash and run their own businesses and live in their own
Okay,
homes.
but let's start with
Yes.
cars.
Vertical integration.
Let's start with
Yeah.
cars. Don't you think that maybe the concern is they're looking at the future of autonomous vehicles, which would drastically lower the mortality rate on highways, and they're saying,
I mean,
this
are
would
they concerned?
probably-
Are the people that run this country, Joe, concerned with the mortality rate? I mean, they're bombing other countries. They're doing this.
Okay,
they're
but
doing
stop,
that.
stop,
They
stop.
want
Come on.
centralized control.
Hold, please. We're conflating.
Steve Wozniak, the founder of
Stop!
Apple,
Stop!
says
Hold
the
it.
best
Hold
AI is
this
not as
thought.
good as an ant's brain.
Hold this thought.
Yeah.
But hold this thought.
The mortality
But
rate
you
on
can't-
highways.
Listen, you can't think
These
that
people
the
are in the woods with hoods on.
But the people with at Google that are working on autonomous vehicles,
Yeah.
they're not the same people that are trying to control governments all outside
But
the
it's
world.
but it's
They're
controlled by
different
those guys.
All of those people at Google want to usher in a Brave New World. They want to remake the world in the
But
way
you're
that they
saying
want
all
to.
these people, some of them are just writing software to
Some
make a
of them
better
are,
pixel.
sure.
Hey,
Some
Joe,
of them are.
Joe,
But there's
I
a
wrote-
lot of them that are not, Joe.
Joe, I
I
wrote
feel
notes.
like I'm the fucking
They're
voice of reason.
that you're
How
not.
is this possible?
They're
Joe,
the tech
you know why?
utopians.
I'm not
Joe,
high.
they're
I
ut-
should be high.
they're
I'd be right along
utopians.
with you.
Yeah, you're very combative, Joe.
These are utopians. They want to create a paradise on Earth
Joe, I brought you.
through control.
I brought you the documents, Joe.
I'm
We have
sucking on
the
this cigar.
Joe, we have the documents.
I'm sucking on the cigar like it's a jelly donut. I'm hoping I can get to the weed on the inside.
Joe.
I'm licking the outside. What do you got there? A piece of paper?
Take it.
What does it say? What does it say? What does it say?
I think it's confirming what I
Looking
just
forward
said.
to the end of humanity. Well, what is this?
See?
Okay, but it's a person who wrote this. It's Adam Kirsch. He's probably got a pistol in his mouth right now.
No,
Right.
that's
Sorry,
the Wall
Adam.
Street Journal cover
I
story.
don't really mean that, Adam. I apologize.
That's the Wall Street Journal cover story. May I please tell you what I came here for?
You came here for a reason?
Yes.
Hold on. Here it is. COVID-19 has spotlighted the promise and peril of transhumanism, the idea of using technology to overcome sickness, aging, and death. Okay, but what is he saying?
I used to fall asleep every night listening to Alex talk about this, so I want to let Alex talk about this. Until they took him off YouTube.
Okay, but make this.
He was
large.
the way I fell
Listen,
asleep every
and
night.
Not only did they do that, but do you know they fucking took a Young Turks podcast, Young
took it
Turk
off.
Hoax podcast.
Let's talk
yesterday
about
off of
that in a minute.
Facebook?
Can we get some weed into you?
Progressive. Yeah, we can get some. We got some on the outside.
No, you need it.
No, I can't.
If I blow it at you like you get a cat high, does that not cheat it if I blow it in your face?
I can't do it.
I'll blow it in your face.
I can't do it. Listen, I'm getting kind of high from this cigar.
Well,
There you go.
listen. I need to talk to you.
I'm a little lightheaded.
All right, I'm gonna go get some apple juice, and I'm gonna pray to Jesus.
We got some in here. I
Listen,
believe.
listen. I need to talk to you.
Just go
yeah,
grab.
you, sir.
yeah,
Just
get
go
him,
grab some bottles and some ice.
get him some apple juice for the transhumanism discussion, please.
Listen. You want to know why I'm so crazy?
No.
Because I discovered this stuff right out of mainline documents, and I've known it for 26 years, 27 years.
Well, here's another thing. Let me tell you something. We all know that you fucked some things up, right? And your biggest fuck up is Sandy Hook.
Mm-hmm.
But you've gotten so many things right. And this is why I keep talking to you about these things and why I defend you and why I think that it's fucking dangerous to censor you and to say, oh, this guy, we need to get him deplatformed, to get him all these things. You're revealing some things that have been proven on this show so far to be true that make people very uncomfortable.
Well, the first thing I was going to do was thank you
what
for
I
having
was-
me on and having the courage.
But I was going to say the fucking Bohemian Grove thing. The Bohemian Grove thing.
That
which-
was that was the first time I really got into what he was doing, and that was like amazing. I mean, when you watch that movie, you know, it's paradigm shifting.
I've had people
This is
try
wild.
to
Yeah.
minimize that. I've had people try
Yes,
to.
they all do.
I go, listen to me. I'm not a billionaire.
Well, I'll give you the real take on it because I've been there, and I think it's just a gateway to things. But let's get into Bohemian Grove in a moment. I really want to give you. I want to give you the big enchilada.
The big enchilada. Okay.
Yeah,
Just have mole sauce.
Yes, sir. Just like I love mole sauce.
I do too.
Just like I'm saying, the engineers mean well. A lot of them have good points. I'm not saying they're wrong about all this stuff. I'm simply telling you I've read what the globalists have to say in their own establishment communication.
Okay.
And I have it right here in my notes to talk to you about the post-human era and the system that they are setting up, where in all of their main publications they say humans are flawed, humans are
But
bad.
they are. But they are flawed, right?
But then
And
these
sometimes
corporations
bad.
are saying they're going to take us out of our bodies and make us silicon. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what Elon Musk talks about. Beware of those that worship AI gods.
Well, he's actually talking about Neuralink, which is something where they're going to be able to interface with your brain and increase the bandwidth in which you access information. But go ahead.
Well, that's it. And
But
so,
it seems inevitable, doesn't it?
no, it's not inevitable. Already, driverless cars don't know a wreck up ahead or what to do. They have more accidents. Steve Wozniak, as I was saying earlier, the co-founder of Apple, says the best AI isn't 1,000,000%, close to how good an ant's brain
Right.
is.
Stop. When they first developed cars, they said, well, how are you going to take them? There's no roads.
Sure, AI
They
power.
built roads.
Here's the
but
deal.
do you understand that the AI that's powering these cars now is not
Do
as
you
good?
understand the people running the AI are predatory anti-humans that say they want to get rid of
Musk
us?
is not a predatory anti-human.
No, I didn't say he was.
But I understand. He's working on autonomous vehicles.
He said, beware those that speak of AI gods.
Yes. Okay, a lot of people are worried that look, Elon is more concerned. Don't give me one of those. You keep that shit away from me, motherfucker.
No.
He doesn't
I'm
drink.
good, thank you. I
He's
appreciate
sober.
it.
Hey, Rogan.
Look at all this extra
I'm sitting next to Alex Jones. I'm as high as I can be.
Election night.
Okay, but listen, election night, we're gonna get lit. But these guys who are making this
It's like in
stuff,
Hollywood. This is fake. This is only corn syrup coloring.
Do you think this is a good idea, though? This idea that we should be expanding our minds in this way and putting chips in
I
our...
don't think it's good or bad. I think it is the
Okay.
nature of human innovation. I think we take things,
Hey, Joe-
we improve upon them. We do that with everything.
But at what point do you
at
cross
one
the
point
line?
in
Joe, you're
time-
talking
at
about-
one point-
Joe, can I
but
please tell you?
No, one at a time. At one point in
needs
time,
weed.
there was they had Morse code, right?
Yes.
They went from Morse code to you being able to send me a FaceTime video.
Understood.
Well, these things happen.
Hey, Joe,
This
we're
is
not
just
against
part of being
technology.
humans.
We're not against technology.
But okay,
May
I
please say
understand that you're
something?
not against technology, but what I'm saying is if you follow technological innovation, it becomes better and more invasive.
We
And
need to
as-
design it where it doesn't make us obsolete. Humans take control of their environment. We build our environment. The globalists have decided to have a post-human future where humans are
this
no
is
longer
where you-
relevant.
This is where you lose. me.
I can
When
show you
start
their damn
saying
quotes.
globalists.
But he's getting me because
I just gave you an article. I just gave you an
He's
article
losing you,
where they
he's
said
getting
it.
me. Because I think he's right. I think the only reason we're still around is because they haven't figured out how to get robots good enough to get rid of all of it. If they had the right robots, there would be no Walmarts to
Exactly.
get rid of everybody. You don't think that?
if they were the right robots,
The
they'd
right
get rid of
AI?
They're
everything.
making us
Yeah.
obsolete. They're making
They're
us
trying
obsolete.
to get rid of the
Danger,
If I
Walmarts.
danger,
need
danger,
a fucking
danger.
cooler, I like to go to Walmart. Is that okay?
But once you have a robot, you won't want to go to Walmart
Why?
because it's dirty, it's filthy. Everyone's got COVID.
I listen to
Yeah, that's
music.
why they're
I
doing the
get in
COVID
my
is the post-human.
electric car.
You're not essential under COVID. They
Not
want
essential.
They want to train you. Okay, listen. Look how calculators were great. No one knows how to do math now. Look how phones are great. No one knows their numbers anymore. All the statistics show that the science of technology is making us dumb. And that's why they wrote the big article, the co-owner of Sun Microsystems in 2000, Bill Joy wrote, Why the Future Doesn't Need Us. And he explains he went to a top billionaire tech conference and they made the decision to not let humans sit around and play video games into the future, that they were just going to slowly phase us out and kill everybody.
Stop. They're not trying to kill.
Okay,
everybody.
pull up Why the Future
why-
Doesn't Need
but-
Us.
But listen, why do you think they're trying to
wouldn't
kill
they?
everybody?
But why wouldn't they? Can we reverse engineer the question?
Because we're called useless eaters.
I don't think they're trying to kill people. I think they're trying to improve what a person is. What I think we're doing.
Oh, by chopping our son's
integrating-
balls off?
Okay, well, you're going to go down another rabbit hole, you son of a bitch. By increasing our ability to access information and by becoming a sort of a symbiotic creature aligned with technology.
And once we're aligned with the AI, it can censor everything we do. You think big tech, the minute big tech got control, they began censoring. And it's the groups behind that are very predatory, Joe.
I do agree with you there.
There's no
I do-
firewalls.
I do.
Yeah.
Here's the problem: the First Amendment currently does not apply to big tech.
Right.
I believe it should.
No,
and I
they're
believe
violating cartel laws.
they're
organized.
I believe that what's happening now with whether it's Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, these platforms are so big. I think the argument can be made that they are utilities and that they should be
Yes.
regulated like
I agree,
utilities. and
Joe.
It should,
Right.
it should be a human
We did
right.
not. I agree. We did not to have access to these things. We did not talk about what we're going to cover pre to this, did we?
We're going to talk about a lot of
I'm
things.
going to
but
read
we're
this. This is what I wrote last night.
Okay,
you
gotta-
ready?
I
The
want
Silicon
I want
Cult.
some weed for you. I want you to take it down a notch.
The Silicon Cult.
Okay, go ahead. It's another article.
No, I wrote this.
Oh, you wrote it.
These are talking points. The Silicon Cult, defining the enemy, the war on carbon. Announce up front that I am not really a liberal or conservative. I want a pro-human future. Please listen to me and hear me out.
Let's stop right there because you
He's right.
get called a neoconservative. You get called an alt-right. You get called a far-right person. When I first met you, you were protesting against George W. Bush. And you were saying that what he was doing and what he was trying to usher in was essentially going to be the downfall of Western civilization.
Even before he was elected.
Yes, I remember that. So when people say Alex Jones is far right guy, I'm like, he's complicated. He's really against corruption more than he's against any particular party. You just found that the right was less apt to censor you and more apt to listen to your ideas.
Exactly. And I know we're all not stoned today, and so we're being a little aggressive. But here's the deal: election night, if I'm gracious enough to be here, or if you're gracious enough, I'll be here. We'll get hammered. But listen, Let's get into Bohemian Grove. Let's get into the technocracy. Let's get into who runs things. Let's get into the mindset. Whatever points you want, and I'll try to shut up and go through it.
This is
Yes.
Tim Dillon's wheelhouse.
This is because
Here
you're
it is.
saying they want
Here it is.
mortality on the
This-
roads.
Look at this thin, young, handsome, boyish, baby-faced Alex Jones.
Well, that's
This is
2004, but yeah, I mean, I knew you in like 99.
98. Well, in 98
I
was
met you
when-
in 98, but then I got to know you in
this,
99.
this was when you were 98 was when you were protesting.
And this is
against
my
George Bush.
clip. You guys are welcome to play this. It's really good.
Yeah.
I'll sign a form.
Okay,
You can use
what
it.
is what is going on in this clip?
He's interviewing a lizard.
let's
No, this is
play
the-
this.
this is the-
Journal. It's been in a lot of different newspapers, and that's the Bohemian Grove.
You want to start it over? It's David
Okay,
Gergen. Let me
start it
let me
up.
set it up.
Yeah,
Let me set it up.
Set it up.
96.
Let me set it up.
Got very.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
just right when he goes. David Gergen. I'm outside. What's the main thing in New York where everybody plays?
By the way, this is when Bill Hicks was alive, so I can confirm that you are not Bill
Madison
Hicks.
Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden, and here comes David Gergen, the Karl Rove of like 4 or 5 administrations, and I knew that he was part of the actual ritual at Bohemian Grove, so I bring it up to him, and he blows up at me. Here it is.
Okay.
He's like 8 feet tall.
Just a few questions about the convention.
Yeah, well, is there a camera or are you?
Yeah, right there. Just about. Yeah, but I just want to get your permission first. Here.
Okay, it's local. I've got.
No, I understand. Just about a minute or two.
Okay, great.
We're talking to David Gergen, and he has advised several presidents, and of course has written quite a few books, and is a, I would call you a political pundit or researcher.
Commentary at Over the Hill, whatever.
One last question. I read a Washington Times article many years ago where you had a comment about the organization, and then now it's been in the Wall Street Journal, it's been in a lot of different newspapers, and that's the Bohemian Grove. And back in, what was it, 1996, when you joined as a Clinton advisor, the Republicans were criticizing you, oh, what about Bohemian Grove? And then you countered them by saying, hey, I don't run around in the woods naked. What did that mean? Here is the before-mentioned Washington Times article where he said, I didn't run around naked like they do.
I don't know what quote you're referring to. I'm not aware of any quote like that. Listen, I am a happy member of the Bohemian Grove. I like the folks who come there, and it's really inappropriate for me to talk about the group beyond that. Thank you.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Now, what we're watching for people that are just listening is a bunch of people wearing robes that are burning an effigy in front of a giant statue of Moloch, the owl god.
And it's the effigy of a child.
Well, I don't know what it's what
It is. I think it's the effigy of a child.
It looks like
I believe
a
it
grown
is.
woman to me.
He's real mad right here.
And yeah.
Okay.
Watch this.
Frankly, I don't.
Back it
think
up
that's
5
something
seconds.
I
We
need to
missed
talk
it.
to you about.
I said you take part in the ritual. Back it up 5 seconds.
I'm Alex Jones,
That's something.
cremation of care.
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Really?
That's right.
Well, I'm Alex Jones, and I snuck in there in 2000. I'm the guy that blew it wide open and got the video. It's been on national TV.
Well, I disrespect you for that.
You do?
I do.
But it's a lot of big public officials going in there. Don't we deserve to know?
You took I don't know anything about you, and I don't know anything about your film. But if you go in there with an understanding, you violated that understanding by releasing that film, and I don't respect you for that.
Really? But we have public officials. that
I'm
are
sorry.
setting
You
policy.
took an understanding when you went in there that you would not do that film, and you did you have an understanding when you went in there?
No.
Did you crash it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it has no trespassing signs there too, doesn't it?
No, they put them
Yes,
up
sir.
after.
Oh, I'm
I just
sorry.
walked in.
I'm sorry, sir. I've been there before. I know what the circumstances are, and I'm sorry you violated the understandings. That was not a gentlemanly thing to do.
But what about the ritual? Is the ritual genuinely?
That's all the people, these fucking heads of state and
Yeah,
billionaires.
that's the
screaming.
other thing. They run the world. Those
I
people.
don't owe you this comment.
I know, I appreciate
This is what's called ambush journalism, and I disrespect you for that as well. So thank
Have
you,
ever
and
been
goodbye.
in the ritual?
That's none of your damn business.
Oh.
That's right. Listen.
Oh, he's
listen.
getting cocky.
You go around and make understandings with people and violate them. You ambush people on the streets, and that's inappropriate form of journalism. If you wish to practice that, that's fine, but don't ask others to respect you for it. If you want to, you can do. You're a free American, like anything you want. If you want to be uncivil and rude and ungentlemanly, that's up to you. But don't expect the rest
You
of
guys
us
are
to say,
setting
"Oh well,
policy in
you're
there,
one."
Mr. Gergen.
I'm sorry, nobody sets policy in there. We try to be gentlemen, and obviously, you don't belong there.
Weaving spiders come out here? Yeah, that is a three-pointer.
Anyways,
That's a 3-pointer.
Listen, you could ignore that if it was like a bunch of poor people in the woods doing that. These guys,
Even then, I'd be worried.
Even then, it would be weird. These guys are the top of like every industry in America. It's at least curious.
Who goes in there?
well, people I like. I mean, Clint Eastwood's gone. He's not really a member. Look.
Is it fun?
Look, it's 2,700 acres. It was set up by Mark Twain, and it was a liberal deal for like hookers and gay dudes and just everything else. Just a big, huge
Would you say gateds? What?
gay dudes.
Gay dudes. I was like,
No, I'm saying if you go back to like the 1870s when Mark Twain set up, it was classically liberal. It was partying. It was their own 2,700 acres. It was saloons. They brought in female hookers. There was gay guys in there. Everything. It was Bohemian Groves, what they called it that, because people did whatever they wanted. And it was open, and they had like poetry and they had plays and they had all the rest of it. Then. By the time of Howard Taft became president, the Republicans basically bought it. So the reason it's important is the Republicans go there to they ship in all these private hookers, all these jets land nearby, but they also have a lot of gay sex, which they use then to basically compromise people into the cult. And so there's a lot of gay sex.
how do you know this?
It came out in news articles. No one ever got footage of it. I was in there for one day. I snuck in. Had people. I looked good back then. They hit on me a lot. I had people I recognized from TV walking around. Hey, let's go right now. I mean, it's a big gay hookup deal for Republicans. I'm just telling you what it is. And then they've got this ritual that's only the feeder group. So I'm sitting there during the ritual, and I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. And the dude goes, shut up, I'll kill you. And they're all taking it very seriously. And I'm not saying it's a gay thing. I'm saying that some of that goes on there.
You were saying it was cool and people were getting angry that you were saying
No, I mean, I was just quietly going, oh, this is really interesting. They're like, shut up, this is a very important ritual. And they were taking it very serious. This hearse comes in with the body of a child. It is an effigy. They're not killing it. And
it's just a bundle of sticks, right?
Yeah, well, it looks like a kid. No, later, others infiltrated later that worked there and got us photos of it. It's an image of a kid. It's a little kid.
Because Moloch in biblical is who they sacrifice to Canaanite.
It's a bull, but they do it as an owl. But
they do it as an owl, yeah. But that's from the Bible, is you would sacrifice a child to Moloch.
Give not your children to the fires of Moloch.
Right,
and so I've given it to experts in religious history. It's not even from Christian perspective. Yeah. It's a Faustian deal mixed with Babylonian and religious stuff from Tyre.
Yeah, it's quirky.
Look at that. Look at that owl god, and look at the fire underneath the owl god.
And there's Ronald Reagan.
I mean, if you saw that, if you were in the woods and you just saw that, you would be terrified.
And Richard Nixon said, Richard Nixon on the Richard Nixon tape says it's a gay orgy.
Richard Nixon said that?
You can pull up. Richard Nixon talks about.
Yeah, Richard Nixon said something about it where he.
It's the most goddamn faggy thing you ever seen.
I think it's just allowing.
Well, nothing against. That's what it's saying.
I think it's guys that aren't gay that engage in gay acts in the woods, and then they have something on each other, similar to Epstein's Island, where
that's
like,
it.
That's what it is.
It's like a fraternity doing like you got to screw.
So
it
is that part?
Hazing.
Hold on a second. What is this here?
And they don't allow women.
No.
It says founded in 1872 by a group of male.
That's the context that YouTube adds.
Bohemian
If you talk
Club?
about Bohemian Grove, this is the title of the video.
See, I told you, founded 1872.
Richard Nixon, Bohemian Grove, most faggy goddamn thing he could ever imagine.
Yeah.
Yes, play it. 100% play it. I want to hear
It's
this.
the Nixon tapes, yeah.
Let me hear this.
Let's look at Northern California. You understand?
Northern California.
You know what's happening in San Francisco. Just gone. It's clear over. I know that, but it isn't just down in the ratty part of town. But the upper class in San Francisco is that way. The Bohemian Grove that I attend one time at a time. The Easterners and the others that come there. But it is the most faggy goddamn thing you will ever imagine. The San Francisco crowd that goes in.
The San Francisco crowd goes in there. It's just terrible. Okay.
So weird. The owl and the it's interesting, and I don't know how seriously they take it. I mean, that's the real question, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole gay thing's a side issue,
right?
The point is that I've talked to people that I mean, according to Ted Gunderson, the first time I ever heard about this was from this former high-level FBI agent who was going to be the FBI director, but he wouldn't go along with corruption, so he wasn't. It's on record, Gunderson almost became the FBI director.
And he blew up like the things like the Franklin scandal, and he's been and
the Finders and the Finders Club,
cult, which was huge.
Yeah,
which where the CIA was caught
confirmed.
Trafficking. The Finders is a cult that was caught trafficking children, and the CIA squashed the Florida.
And then Gunderson got it raided in D.C. and found a whole CIA facility with the snuff films, everything.
Telex machine.
And so he told me about all this, and I thought he was crazy.
Yeah.
Even though he was Ted Gunderson.
You told us about it, and we actually pulled up one of those stories.
And I was correct.
Yes, you're correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Ted Gunderson's the reason I know about this, and he said that they get people interested with that ritual. There's like 2,000 members. They bring about 1,000 guests. Not everybody can even bring a guest. Only like the head of each camp can bring a guest. Most of them are nice. Clint Eastwood goes there. Danny Glover goes there. But it's an all-male deal.
Who's the other one?
Danny Glover.
Oh, Danny Glover?
I'm just mentioning who's
Lethal Weapon Danny Glover?
I saw him there.
How the fuck is he in there?
They probably like him from the
He's
movie.
just a fun guy.
I saw him when I was there. I saw Danny Glover.
Interesting. I'm starting to believe this is not. I'm starting to believe we can get in. I'm starting to believe it's not that.
Joe
exclusive.
Rogan, they'd have him in immediately.
Immediately.
Not now.
Do a podcast
Oh, absolutely.
from
They don't
in
care.
front of the owl.
But I just want to say that overall,
Why
it
not?
started
You and
out
me.
as a truly artsy liberal thing that I think's good. I think guys deserve to go off the woods like we've done since humans were
butt
humans,
fuck,
and,
right?
and party and do whatever.
Right.
And so it's but. The thing is, then the weird skull. Here's what happened. About 1900, Skull and Bones, that was at Yale in New Haven, Connecticut, that was a German death cult. It took over Bohemian Grove, and that's when they set up that as the central deal. So it's this big, inviting, fun party.
What happens at Skull and Bones? Because that's one of the other rumors about Skull and Bones.
can
They
tell you, I know.
compromise you.
I know.
They compromise you so that you're always a part of this organization.
Well, before he died, I did multiple interviews with Anthony Sutton, the top congressional advisor to Senator Frank Church. And we only know about Sutton because Charlotte Iserby, whose father was high-level Skull and Bones, gave him all of their internal manuals. And she's been a frequent guest. She's retired now.
America's Secret Establishment, an introduction to the Order of Skull and Bones.
Yes.
Okay.
And so this is a Russell Trust true Illuminati. Illuminati set up 1776 to counter our revolution by Adam Weishaupt. It funds the Jacobins. It funds the French Revolution. It's the opposite of a true egalitarian, open liberal revolution. It's the leftist. Always say they're the liberal. Liberal and leftist are two different deals. Leftist is left-hand path Satanism. Liberalism is egalitarian, open society, true liberalism. And so the left-hand path set this up. And then they sent all this opium money they had over in 1831 to Yale to set up a German secret society of the Illuminati, which then has become one of the dominant secret societies. And in there, they do actual satanic rituals. They get in coffins. They do simulated human sacrifices. They have gay sex as part of the ritual. They bathe in huge facilities of feces. This was made by Robert De Niro. Made a movie.
Skull and Bones they're doing that stuff now.
Absolutely, I know somebody broke into it, but
Wow.
who's the?
How can this be proven?
Well, Matt Damon made a movie called The Good Shepherd, I think.
Yes.
And in that, it's Robert De Niro directed it. Okay, and that's super accurate. Where it's got the sword and the devil, and they're in these big vats of cow manure.
They did leak a Facebook photo album of a bunch of Skull and Bones kids hanging out on Deer Island. They kind of look like losers. I know they're not. I know they're not, but they kind of look like losers. I mean, it was kind of like
a
embarrassing.
lot of billionaires look like losers.
Yeah, they look like emaciated. You were like, these are the Illuminati. It was kind of like
No,
ugh.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Remember ABC News, because they wanted to get Bush in trouble right before the 2004 election. Another frat was able to, because they're all doing this crap, shoot video down into it where they're going, devil equals death, Satan. And they had girls they finally brought into the membership. It was all boys before.
Yeah.
Sacrificing. So, of course, it's idiotic. It's training wheels for what they do. But inside, they go grave rob. They've got Geronimo's skull.
Yeah, that George H.W. Bush supposedly stole Geronimo's skull.
Yeah, you got to do things like...
I don't know if that, but that's a legend rumor thing. Yeah.
It's
probably
It's
true.
been broken into.
Yeah.
One time the police went in there, but the point is that Skull and Bones, Order 322, is the Illuminati Germanic death cult that now set up chapters all over the U.S., and it took over Bohemian Grove around 1900. And so that's why Bohemian Grove is still this artisan, deal of elitist artist, but then it got co-opted by the Republican Party and Skull and Bones. And Helmut Schmidt, German chancellor, wrote Men in Power as a political retrospective when he retired in the late 80s. Saying, I love our Illuminati rituals that we have in Germany in our own sacred groves. But I think they've taken it to a new level with Skull and Bones at Bohemian Grove, and I really enjoy the time we have there.
So these are just these elite institutions where, and Skull and Bones, I think they seek to create close friends amongst people that may not know each other, create loyalty amongst this group of people.
That's why they got to tell them all the things they've done.
Yeah, you got to tell them all the sexual history, all that stuff. They want these people to be loyal to each other, so when they they're not loyal to the laws of America. They're loyal to this oath that they take with each other.
And exactly, and it's like a Team
Look at this.
America.
Look at this. Descendant sues Skull and Bones over Geronimo's bones. Documents show George W. Bush's grandfather robbed Geronimo's grave. Members of the secret society allegedly steal valuable things and put them in tomb. Great grandson says Geronimo should be buried in accordance with tradition. Federal law protects Native Americans' rights to their family members' remains.
And let's expand on that. What he just said, because this guy's done his studying. It's like It's like in Team America when the head guy goes.
He's the only person who's ever said I've studied.
No. But he says, he goes, suck my cock, Gary. It's not about sex. In Skull and Bones and Bohemian Grove, what he said is most of these guys are not gay. It's an act of dominance. Like, oh, you're a senator, you want to be president, bend over, and like a former president screws you in the ass. And that's what they do. I mean, the ritual is, I'm in charge, bend over.
Well, isn't that a thing with fraternities anyway? Like hazing? You jizz on a cracker?
Exactly. So it's the next deal.
Yeah, but most people in fraternity, I mean, these are the top kids. These are kids that they think are going to occupy leadership positions in the world.
And often do.
And
eventually.
often do. So even
Let me give you
people,
an example. Even John Ronson saw the photo with me when we snuck into Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
And they had it hanging in, and people say, why didn't you get a video? I have a camera hidden right here. It's Henry Kissinger bent over in a woman's dress, sticking his fingers in his ass.
Bill Clinton in a blue dress with in Jeffrey Epstein's house.
Yeah, but that's just an artist rendition. Do you know that was just an artist made that?
Yeah, but
maybe
why?
this was an artist rendition. We're in a clubhouse.
Yeah.
Ronson wrote about this.
Oh, so it's a photo or a painting?
No, it looked like a photo, but let's just say it's a painting. I don't know. It's ancient memory 20 years ago.
Okay.
20 plus, But I mean, Ronson's like, look at that. I'm like, is that Kissinger? Yeah, and it's Kissinger. It's all about being improper. And then they all go get caught to compromise each other to be in the club. It's a hazing thing.
So that they can trust each other because they're all doing shady shit.
Yeah.
Yes. Even if it's an artist rendition, why does Jeffrey Epstein have it in his townhouse, a picture of the president in a blue dress?
Well, because the president flew in his fucking plane
that's what I
26
mean.
times.
That's what I mean.
He was
Yeah.
basically.
And by the way,
it was a power
Ghislaine
move,
Maxwell
wasn't it?
is now come out in court. It's getting no attention, confirming, okay, Clinton did fly to that island. That broke 4 days ago. It's gotten zero attention.
Yeah, no, they're not paying. They're not paying attention. We haven't heard anything other than those court documents that just came out.
Listen, I told you. Listen, guys, it's not like I'm even that special. My mom's brother was a famous helicopter pilot in Vietnam, running Black Ops into Laos and Cambodia and stuff. And then I shouldn't tell these stories, but no one's ever heard this stuff. But I remember growing up, him telling me this stuff, and it was true. Like they were, I'm not going to do it. The point is,
please.
No,
What's the problem?
I just can't do it.
What's the danger? You said so much.
Well, no, I mean, let's just say he took the fall for something that was going on. He didn't get in trouble for it. He got promoted. And he was involved in Iran-Contra.
And that's how people get promoted. They fail upward by taking a lot of times the blame for something, or that's like common.
Yeah, so I grew up. I grew up, not just him, but other family, it was like something special. About those Navy SEAL guys, you got a security done a bunch of crazy stuff. That's what our military does. It's not what you hear on the news.
Right.
And it's just completely out of control stuff.
Right.
And I mean, my uncle told me, he said, yeah, I know, I got out of working for these groups and everything. As an army officer that was sheep dipped. He wasn't wearing an army uniform. The stuff he was doing.
Right.
We were talking high level. Like we're talking running the real stuff. Like
Special ops.
He was in charge. He had like the command base in Guatemala City.
Right.
Because he was like a top Morse code guy.
Yeah.
Of course they had satellites then, but nobody could read this Morse code coded. So he was sending stuff to the White House Morse code. He was like when he was a kid, he was a champion Morse coder. So he wasn't just in command. He was like running all the stuff. And he just said, I had to do it because he said it was kids being smuggled out of orphanages by the CIA for sex ops in D.C.
Jesus
And
Christ.
he told me that when he was dying of pneumonia.
Jesus, fuck.
Yeah.
Now, what is it with kids? Why
It's
is
the way to compromise people.
It's the energy, too.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody will hurt kids, and he wouldn't. If somebody will hurt kids.
It's like, what else? They'll do anything.
But that's what everyone's so terrified of today, right? That there are some sex trafficking and sex cults,
and there's over 10 times the bust.
High level people, but that's like,
and they are though. But that's a fact,
right? But if you want to get
the QAnon shit gets wild and it's sloppy and messy,
right.
and you've talked about that too. It gets sloppy and messy, and they're not right about everything. But the idea there are human trafficking. The entire reason,
QAnon is just people on the internet.
They're like playing games,
LARPing, acting like they're taking credit for something. And a lot of them are good people. It's just that you can give them like bona fide, like, look, they just busted a giant child trafficking ring. Associated Press, they don't want that. They want there's underground bases and there's dinosaurs and there's aliens.
They don't want the real shit.
They don't want the real thing.
So is it that they're just into things that are just huge, more ridiculous than reality? Like what is?
Yeah, because it's escapism, and Hillary's in prison secretly.
Okay, right.
I think they just learned about the world over the last year, and it melted their mind. Like you've been looking at this stuff
when you were on with Joe a few months ago, you crystallized it perfectly.
Yeah.
They've been asleep. Now they've woken up, and now they think everything's a cartoon version. We'll say it like you said.
Yeah, well, it was just like, again, it's like if you didn't know anything about the Franklin scandal, you didn't know about Epstein, or you hadn't read these books, you didn't know the stories your uncle told you, and then eventually you just found out there was an island where all these politicians were going to and having sex with kids, and they were getting compromised. Your mind would melt, and then you would get paranoid, and then you would start thinking that everybody's a pedophile and that there's tunnels underground, when the reality is it is bad, but sometimes you have to take a step back and take a breath and realize that, like, there are good people, and not everybody is evil, but there is a lot of evil out there, but you got to take a step back and try to realize, like, what is what.
Well, there's one picture of Clinton getting massaged by this woman, and they were using it as sort of evidence, but the woman's clearly a woman. She's in her 20s, and they were saying...
but she'd been working for him since she was like 15.
Let's never use Clinton as the example of the QAnon people being wrong.
That's not even what I'm saying.
She's
like,
never
there it is. That's a grown woman.
She's a grown-up, yeah.
So,
listen, let's be clear. The media did a limited hangout. They went with these whistleblowers instead of all the other people. And the fact that the witnesses reported at Epstein Island in the Caribbean, Little St. George, and on the other island too, that boats would pull up in the middle of the night to these shacks with little brown kids. And those are the ones that get disappeared.
But who reported this?
It's in major documentaries. It's in Netflix documentaries. It's in all the witnesses we talked to. And they said, my witnesses, my people I talked to over 10 years ago said, you remember me telling you about it, they've got an island in the Caribbean. They've got an island in the Mediterranean. They've got ranches in the Southwest. And that they...
Well, he had a ranch in New Mexico, right?
Yeah, that came out later. I wasn't told exactly where.
I mean, the idea that these kids would disappear potentially isn't crazy. I mean,
no, it's not crazy
It's
at
not
all.
crazy at all to think.
Here's an example. I was told by a high-level source that major Hollywood producers, by name, ran a cult where they branded women next to their vagina.
The Nixium thing.
But I put it out 2 years before it broke. So I was told this by a high-level source.
I remember you talking to me about it.
And then they even had articles going in Huffington Post. Jones claims Harvey Weinstein's connected to groups that do all this, and I was just going off what people told me, and I said I didn't even say Weinstein. That's what's crazy is they were already trying to cover it in case I said that. They're like, oh, Weinstein's not involved in branding women. Well, it never even came out he was. It was the other guy.
Right.
So it's just.
But what you said did turn out to be true.
Yeah.
As fantastic as it sounded, as outrageous, as ridiculous, it turned out to be true. Now it's in the news.
First time I ever heard of Ted Gunderson. Let me pull him up. Ted Gunderson. It's on Wikipedia, up to be FBI director. He was the head of L.A. Imagine what he learned there. And he's telling me, he goes, man, I've been in the FBI 20 years. I got to be the head of L.A. He goes, like, this devil worshiping everywhere. Blew me away. Pedophilia, you name it. He knew about the Manson thing really being a satanic ritual.
And there was a senator from Nebraska named John DeCamp, who I know
he was friends with.
Who he was friends with. And John DeCamp was a guy who he blew the whole thing wide open. Like
he was CIA.
He blew the whole thing wide open. Was DeCamp CIA, you think? But he was one
he
of the
told me. I was friends with him.
He was one of the good ones. Like
he was involved in Operation Phoenix.
And then they killed. Well, that was his mentor. So DeCamp's mentor was a guy who was a high-level CIA guy who Jamie could pull that up. He was in a Phoenix operation, and he was killed. And I forget
in the canoe.
In the canoe, and it, the dinner was still on the table.
Wait a minute, he was killed in a canoe?
Yeah, this was a high-level CIA guy. John DeCamp was a Nebraska senator who broke open this human trafficking operation.
By the way, I'm having
hold on.
It was a pedophile cult. It was trafficking kids across America, and it was centered out of the Omaha Federal Credit Union. It was being run by a guy named Larry King, who was this rising star in the Republican Party. He's probably still alive. He has pictures of Maureen Reagan, all that stuff. These kids were being trafficked to D.C., to L.A., to New York, wherever. DeCamp stumbled upon the occult, weird ritual shit going on, too, in addition to the pedophilia and all that. And then he went to this guy, his mentor, who he knew from Vietnam, from the military, who was a CIA guy, whose name is escaping me.
William Colby.
William Colby. He went to William Colby, and William Colby basically said to DeCamp, listen, you're going up against forces that are way too powerful. You don't even know what you're knocking on here. And then William Colby, I think, changed his mind and said, fuck it, you know what? We should stop doing, if we're going to fight this, let's fight it. And then a little while later, William Colby, who was in great health, great shape, has an accident in his canoe, is found dead in a river right by his house with his dinner still on the table. So it's like nobody gets up in the middle of the dinner to go canoeing. So this has been a common theme forever. Whereas if you go against these people, you find you're dead.
He was 76 when he drowned, though.
Yeah, but in a canoe while his dinner was still on the table.
Sometimes people have heart attacks when they're 76.
I understand.
I understand.
I understand that.
Okay, we're connecting dots here that maybe we don't need to disclose. Okay. William Colby, director of Central Intelligence, chose to disclose some of the nation's darkest secrets to save the spy service he loved, drowned on April 27th in a tributary of
I've
the
talked to
Potomac
folks.
River.
They killed him.
They
He
killed him.
was 76.
How about
and lived in the Georgetown
this guy,
section
Gary
of Washington.
Caradori, who was a private investigator, hired to get to the bottom of the.
It's like
Franklin
Barry Seal,
scandal.
man. They're getting rid of the people.
They just get rid of him.
All right, so listen, we've
that
done
makes
Bohemian
sense.
Grove. We've done Bohemian Grove. Let me tell you, Senator DeCamp was on record running major level Operation Phoenix, which was a high level CIA torture operation and execution operation. So Apocalypse Now is kind of based on some of the things they did. But he's on record, highly decorated at that.
I don't want to go too far away from the Epstein thing because I still have a whole lot more
Let's
questions.
go back to Epstein.
Okay. The island itself. Like, first of all, Epstein had this crazy place in New York City.
7-story palace.
That the guy who owned Victoria's Secrets, he gave it to him?
Yeah, because of probably blackmail.
Right. And then there was other billionaires who it turned out had been glossed over. And no
including
one
Bill
brought it up at all.
Gates. Bill Gates stays there and tried to deny it. But Bill Gates denies staying with Epstein, but confirmed he stayed there and in his Paris home.
Okay. And this was also, he met with him post his first arrest, correct?
Yes.
Because he was arrested.
Yeah, a lot of people did. Chelsea Handler had dinner with him, I believe, after the arrest, too. I mean, a lot of people looked past that, apparently.
Yeah, British royal.
Okay, Bill Gates met with Jeffrey Epstein many times despite his past. And there
I got to say, Jamie's really fast.
He's the best.
He's the best.
So let's go back to this.
He's married Tim Dillon.
Where's
Epstein,
he getting?
Epstein had a huge interest in tech. He loved tech.
Yes.
Yes, and he wanted to. He brought scientists and big tech people over his house in New York City.
Here's the deal. They were doing, I said this over 10 years ago, that they were involved in secret breeding programs for cloning.
Okay, before we get to that, scientists, how were they getting these scientists? Where are they getting all the money, first of all? Where's he getting the money to get this island? Where's he getting the money to buy this giant house or get this?
We now know that he was a nexus point from the dirty sides of the CIA, MI6, and Mossad at least.
Yeah.
And so they were compromising people. And then as he would compromise people, most of them knew they were being compromised. They wanted to be compromised, to be let in to then run operations and be given even more money.
He was also the money manager for a guy named Les Wexner, who's a billionaire who owns Victoria's Secret, The Limited, among other things.
And that's the guy
He was gifting Epstein a property. He gave him a $70
Well, that's where he
million
got some of the first money.
Well, Eric Weinstein, who was a legit
Yes.
financial guy, looked at him and said, "This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about."
Of course not.
He said he's playing a role.
And then
he
scientists,
met with him.
scientists were like that too. When they went to his house, they go, "Oh, Epstein's is like playing a role.
Yes.
he has no, so whatever he's doing, he's working for somebody."
Well, let me tell you, they want to corrupt the scientific elite to go along with their agenda on climate change, to go along with their agenda on viruses, to go along with their agenda because they know scientists are respected. So you want to have them compromised so they go along with whatever it is you want.
So whatever it is you want. So if you want to do something and manipulate reality to make your agenda go through, you compromise the scientists, and then these elite experts who you have on film having sex with 16-year-olds, then you can...
So maybe man-made global warming is real and really bad. Doesn't matter. The solution they have is a global tax. You pay them, so it's a scam. But as big as Epstein was, he was small compared to these other finders groups and other organizations. Right. They even came out in the news at the time in the late 80s, early 90s. And then the communist Chinese, they're running the blackmail rings with Hunter Biden and the Democratic Party and Dianne Feinstein and all these people at levels way, way, way above anything anybody else has seen.
Jesus Christ.
I always got a bad feeling from Dianne Feinstein.
I never had any feeling.
Turned out her main assistant was a Chinese actual agent.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Ghislaine Maxwell Powell pleads for release, says jailed heiress starving in humiliating clothes.
And that's unfair for her. And I think, this
What an
humiliating
elitist
clothes
statement.
release.
You should give her, she, on record, this woman was involved in all these horrible things. And now, oh my God, she's in humiliating clothes.
Why do you think Trump said, like when they asked her about it, well, I wish her well?
He's always smart ass, like, because Epstein was killed in prison.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I wish her well because they want to get data.
He's also like a rich guy. He knew her, right? I mean,
well, he
so
later
that's your whole thing.
clarified it. I'll tell you what he said.
Do you think Trump's cleaning everything in this?
Oh, you want to get the MO on Trump?
Well, I would like to because I know that you're.
I'll give you. No.
There he goes.
Here we go.
My only superpower is that I really try to give you the accurate thing. Doesn't mean I'm always right, but about 95% of the time. That's why earlier we went down that rabbit trail when I'm saying, listen, Trump doesn't like lobbyists. He fired them all. He's trying to make the best decisions for everybody in a pragmatic free market to not have one-sided trade deals. But his blind side was by him not letting lobbyists in, everyone around him became unofficial lobbyists. That became a 20-minute rabbit hole, which I'm not bitching about.
Okay.
But let me tell you about Trump. Trump's dad was a super right-wing, pro-America dude who was actually a huge funder of the John Birch Society. He introduced him to the head of the House Un-American Activities group that worked for Nixon and Eisenhower that actually ran the Red Scare. Some of it was good, some of it was bad. Roy Cohen. And so his personal lawyer for 25 years was Roy Cohen, who was like
Joe McCarthy's best friend, right?
Joe McCarthy's chief of staff.
Chief of staff, yeah.
I mean, he ran it.
He ran it, yeah.
He ran House and Senate. He was the big enchilada. And so Trump was actually heavily influenced by his father that was anti-communist, acted nice and liberal in New York, but like knew all this. John Birch Society, like, we're talking whole 9 yards.
But wasn't Roy Cohn also involved in some blackmail stuff?
Oh, he was huge.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it was the whole gay mafia stuff. Too, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, you guys are deep. You're deep in this,
I
Tim.
know this. Yeah, I know this.
Well,
I
it's all
fell
facts.
asleep listening every night. I would fall asleep. I'd listen to about a half hour, and then I would trail off him, the globalist, and I would fall asleep. And now I can't do that anymore. Thank you, YouTube.
You can, Infowars.com.
I know.
We're halfway into this. I should say. People ask where. People come to the street, they say, I used to love you. I'm sorry you're off air now. We have record traffic at Infowars.com and band.video. Band.video.
Yeah.
We have videos. I've had videos this week with 3 million views, 2 million views, 1 million views.
Yeah.
It's all there.
My producer, Ben Avery, watches Infowars.com like during holidays. His family would be having Christmas. He'll be in a room watching Infowars.
So speaking of censorship, YouTube and Facebook have now banned all the QAnon stuff, right?
Which is crazy.
Well, this is what's crazy. Like, what's next? You're going to ban JFK conspiracy
Well,
theories?
if I make a joke about QAnon, am I going to get banned? That's the other problem for
But
comedians.
it's like you said, the Young Turks show. Well, let's just first talk about the Young Turks.
What is the show that
the Jacobins?
Because Tim Dillon had put the show. He'd put it. I'm gonna send it to you, Jamie, so you can see what it is. I'm gonna send you the video that Tim Dillon, or excuse me, Tim Pool had sent me. I'm gonna send it to you right now, Jamie.
So let me explain this.
Okay.
The Young Turds are anti-free speech for everybody, including me. And then she goes, but I'm not anti-free speech. I just want Alex Jones banned. But then they have this new show called The Jacobins. Well, let's talk about evil. The Young Turks were the group that ran the Armenian genocide. They ran the Armenian genocide on record, killed over 1.5 million Christians. They named themselves the Young Turks. They go, oh, we don't know what that means. Now they're called the Jacobins. The Jacobins ran the French Revolution and were the Illuminati. I told you about them earlier.
Yeah.
So it's like every name they've got is like the Hitler Youth, basically. I mean, the Young Turks, and
that
now,
is a very unfortunate name. The Young
Well, they
Turks.
also people run around with the people that watch a lot of those shows walk around with either the Che Guevara shirts or they're unironically calling themselves Maoists. These are like suburban white kids walking around going, "I'm a Maoist." I mean, it's kind of
$800 smartphones.
Right?
Yeah, that is a problem too.
It's absurd.
I think they're trying to do good, and I think they are doing good. I really do. I think when they thought that, hey, I'm not anti-free speech, but ban Alex Jones, they just don't understand what that means. There's a reason why you can't just go around censoring people. And again, the answer to bad speech is better speech. Right. That has always been the answer.
But here's the big problem. Once they silence you, they can then make up whatever they want. Because people all the time
here's what's worse, Alex, and this is you personally, but the problem is when they silence someone, when they censor someone, and then that person's not that's not the target anymore, they look for another target, and they invariably go left. They invariably.
Exactly. They get on a power trip.
But hold on a second. The left is not left enough. Right. So if you're a centrist, they'll call you alt-right.
Yeah.
Because you need to be compliant completely with the ideology. If
Yeah.
you're not compliant, they keep moving what's acceptable and what constitutes racism, sexism, classism,
Right.
homophobia, transphobia.
It's a power grab.
But they keep changing it. And
They move the line all the
Orwell
time.
talked
Yeah.
about this in 1984.
Yeah.
He was like, if you ban all the words, if all you will literally you will change thoughts, because you can't have all the, I forget Orwell's words on hate
Reducing
speech.
language. He said they want to reduce the language where no one's even able to communicate, and that's the goal. So we think of it as a leftist thing that's out of control. No,
Yeah,
this is
I
a
fucked
science.
up. I paraphrased it and I fucked it up. But the point is, what they didn't see, they didn't use hindsight. They didn't.
It's called ingsoc.
What they did. It's so hard to talk with you. What they didn't do is they didn't look
Joe,
to
you
where
need
this
alcohol.
goes. I
Don't-
do. They didn't look to where this goes. They didn't understand. They didn't extrapolate. They didn't say.
Or maybe some of
It's
them
not-
did, and some of them
but you
want it
can't-
to go
if
where
you
it's
start,
going.
If you start censoring, there's a real. And I know people are saying no. You should censor people that say terrible things because they influence our children, and you can't.
But Joe, it's a power grab. They get off. Once they've got one scalp, they're going to scalp everybody,
I
including
understand
themselves.
that's the motivation of the people that are doing it. That's not what I'm concerned with. What I'm concerned with is the problem itself, because you keep finding a new target. You keep finding a new person who's doing something that's incorrect.
That's what I'm saying. They don't want to give up. They want more.
But it's not that they're trying to grab power. It's that you're always trying. Look, you've started a game.
Yeah,
you
but hold
started
on.
a game.
They're
Hold on.
losers and want to control reality because they're projecting their own hatred of themselves on us.
You don't think part of it is that they want power to control the discussion?
There's most certainly a part of that.
Yeah.
That's a part. That's human nature.
But Joe,
It's
you
human
just
nature.
said I'm hard to deal with.
Well, because you talk over people when they're talking, you don't let them get the full.
You've been talking a lot.
You don't let people get a full thought out. They're in Tim does it like when he's having
do it
his
too.
thoughts.
How
but
the
don't-
censors
yeah.
are good.
What I was saying is he's talking and you jump in, and the problem is I know you have some things to say, but then you fuck with the thing that's coming out of the other person's
Okay,
mouth.
explain to me how the censors are loving people. That's what you're trying to do.
Not saying they love people. I'm saying they're not looking at it correctly, because the way they're looking at it, they think they're doing a good thing and they're going to usher forth some utopian world of communication where people are only saying the things they agree with. The problem with that is you don't find out who's right unless you get everybody talking.
But
It's the only-
I agree.
it's the only
But
way you do
Joe,
it.
it's worse than that.
You can't have an echo chamber. It's dangerous. Echo chambers are dangerous. And what tech has done is created these left-wing ideological echo chambers.
I totally agree.
And they're also forcing people into self-censorship, because if you don't comply with the rules that they've set forth, then you get banned, so you comply. And you find people.
It's a cult.
It is a cult.
I
Ideologically.
talk like this.
Listen, it is a cult.
Joe,
I think there's a lot of these cults.
Joe, what I'm trying to say to you is you've never been not smoking weed with me on air. You need
I know, it's a
weed.
bummer. We should have had you come in a week.
You're angry. You're upset. I'll
But
be here
I
during the
wanted
election.
you to be on before
I agree
the election
with
and
you,
the
Joe.
shit.
Who do you think's going
Shit
to
hit
win,
the
by
fan.
the way?
Donald Trump is going to win.
You think so?
But then the Democrats are going to contest it. And we're going to have the 79 days of
But
hell.
why are all the polls showing that Joe Biden is in the lead? Do you think it's all
Just
bullshit?
like last time they said Hillary was going to win.
Yeah, but these are the post election polls.
Joe, what I want to do is talk to you right now.
Why are you talking like that?
He's he's a conspiracy phone sex
I want
operator.
to talk about what a sexy man you are right now. I am
He's the only one here drunk. This is a real
I am
problem.
channeling Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon's
That's
looking
not
at
how Tim Dillon talks.
Tim Dillon's looking at you right now.
Do you
Joe.
really think that Trump is going to win? Because it's
Yeah.
close.
No, he's going to win big.
Interesting.
Really?
But
why,
they're
why do
gonna
you think that?
But they're going. Listen, I was not trying to interrupt you earlier.
well, this is how you talk. It's okay. You're
This is how
explosive
you
guy.
talk.
You got to let it
He's
in.
got
Joe,
passion.
Joe,
Got
you've
passion.
talked.
Got passion. Yeah.
You've talked twice as much in our last 4-hour podcast. I love it. This is the sober Joe Rogan. Let's get back to this.
Trump.
What were we arguing about political correctness?
I don't know, but you were saying that we weren't arguing.
He was saying that the censors.
agreeing with you.
The censors, some of the censors are trying to do the right thing.
Yes.
And that you were saying, listen, it's deeper than that. And then that's where we left off.
Yeah, it's all been scientifically set up where they always say, oh, we're for outliers now and dog whistles. It's all about normalizing centralized control. Big tech knows it's psychological algorithms. It's totally destructive. China, that has people Muslims in death camps, Christians in death camps, Buddhists in death camps, is trying to totally normalize censorship here domestically when the whole left is involved with communist China through big tech. It doesn't say a word about them. They have no moral high ground to stand on, Joe.
Well, we have a real problem in this society when it comes to tech, first of all, because all the people that are on the moral high ground who are buying iPhones, you know where those things are being made. Like we all know.
Everybody knows.
And I admit it. I admit it.
I admit it as well. There's no iPhones that are being made in Ohio with highly skilled workers that are paid an excellent wage and they have great healthcare benefits. That's not what's happening. I don't know why, but that's not what's happening.
Sure.
They've decided that it's better to make them cheaper or better to have a higher profit margin and make them in other countries, or at least they decided that initially, and now they're stuck.
Let me ask you this. Who do you think is going to win? In fact, I will be very subdued now since I'm back.
Joe Jorgensen.
Yeah, I think Joe Jorgensen has a great shot.
She's a shoo-in. And then Kanye West.
I think Joe Jorgensen, Kanye West. I think it's a nail bite. It's neck and neck.
You know what drives me crazy?
I think it's neck and neck, right?
Jennifer Aniston she made a tweet that said,
What drives me crazy is you're hating me right now
no, I love
because you're not drinking.
Hold on a second. There was a fucking hilarious response by Kanye West. She said, Jennifer Aniston put on Twitter, hey, it's not funny to vote in for Kanye. Don't do it. And he goes, Friends wasn't funny either.
Hilarious. He's right. He's right. That's great.
Friends was not funny.
But you see the two of them together. Friends was a funny show.
Joe, you were great on Friends.
I wasn't on Friends.
That's a joke.
Who do you think? You think Trump?
I don't know.
Well, I don't
If
know.
you were a Friends character, who would you be?
I'd probably be Matt LeBlanc, right?
You'd be Jennifer Aniston.
I don't think so. Who's Matt LeBlanc? His name is Joey.
Jennifer's the most
I'd be
successful.
Joe.
She's the most
I
successful.
identify as Jennifer Aniston.
He was dumb. I'm dumb. Perfect.
Wouldn't you like to have a dentist like Jennifer Aniston in Horrible Bosses?
She was a dentist? What did she do? Molest her patients while they were
Yes.
under? Okay. Well, you could be molested by worse people.
Well, they're not kids.
But I just think it's funny that someone who's an actor would say that. Like this thing that they feel like they have this influence, they're going to change the way people
Yeah, it's
vote.
stupid. This 80 days of hell you speak of, what does that entail? Just so I can mentally prepare myself.
79 days of
79 days of hell.
What are you talking
79 days without Joe
gonna happen?
Rogan.
What's
What's
going
going
to
to
Oh, no,
happen?
79 days of us locked up in here with cases of whiskey and huge piles of marijuana.
He's lit. He's lit.
No.
You're a little lit, buddy.
I don't actually-
I could see that bottle, and it was a fresh bottle when you sat
No,
down.
that's fake. That's Hollywood.
That's not Hollywood. We're in Texas. I gave up Hollywood years ago. I haven't worked in Hollywood in a long time.
Let's talk about this. What were you just asking?
I don't remember.
79 days of hell. If
What
the
is that?
Democrats contest the election.
Problem. 79. See, this is not fair. 79 days of hell. That's how many days there are after November 3rd to the inauguration. And John Podesta in the New York Times, they had a big war game where the New York Times sat in on a Democrat high-level war game with Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and all of them. And they said, we're going to contest. We think we're going to win. But if we lose, we're still going to contest. And we're going to contest, and we're going to call for the UN to come in and occupy the U.S.
The UN is going to occupy the
And then the New York Times came out and said, we need the UN to intervene in the U.S. election. And now the Four Horsemen just called for that yesterday.
Jesus.
And so they are planning to have
Who's the Four Horsemen?
AOC and the rest of the crew.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And so,
I thought that's the tribe.
anyways, and so they're planning to have Western states secede. And they're saying they're going to hold the election up. You already saw this. They already denied the last election.
Well, they can take Portland.
Yeah, you take it all. Take
This
a lot
is
of the
the
West.
79
Good luck.
days of hell. Let me ask you this.
Who cares?
When did you decide to try to escape California?
Well, I told you, the looting. When the looting hit,
Well, no, you told me off air, I know, but-
Yeah, I had zero faith in their ability to maintain law and order. Because if you're going to pay all that money in taxes, I feel like you should at least feel like they're protecting things. And when they were just letting them smash windows and cops were told to stand down, particularly in Santa Monica, there was like direct orders, and the sheriff was, being widely criticized for this. They were told to stand down while these people were smashing and looting things. When they were doing that, I was like, well, you can't live in a place where that's being tolerated, because this goes from stores to, they'll move to nightclubs, they'll move to restaurants, they'll decide
And then
what
your
they're going to
suburbs.
smash. It had nothing to do with George Floyd.
No.
It had nothing to do with him.
I agree.
Those restaurants, those stores had nothing to do with George Floyd.
And now, like in Minneapolis, the crime rate's like triple. The police won't even show up. They're like, people are like, why are you even paying you?
Yeah.
So what do you think, both of you, Mr. Dillon, what is the end game of this?
I'm going to finish my answer
Yeah.
Okay,
because
go
I'm
ahead.
not done yet. It was also that there was restrictions that were put in place that didn't make any sense to me. There's restrictions for restaurants, restrictions for comedy clubs, restrictions for gyms. Like, why can't you just wear a mask?
Why are churches closed,
Yes.
but Walmart's open?
Well, why are churches closed, but why is it okay to protest?
It's not alcohol.
Why is everybody letting people protest?
Right.
Why aren't they saying, listen, I understand your want and desire to protest, but understand that you're most likely contributing to the spread of this virus? Because that's a fact.
Right.
Even if you support the protests.
The
I
end,
agree.
Yeah, the end game seems to be if you let society get bad enough, people will then accept all these more draconian security measures and censorship across the board with
Do you
tech.
think that's what's going on with California? Like, why do you think they've kept California locked down this much?
They want to kill the U.S. economy. China's been open for 6 months. They admit it's leaked out that they're doing this to kill the U.S. economy. Remember,
It's leaked out how?
let's come out. Democratic Party reports. It's been stated. I mean, you heard Democrats all over the news say we want a depression to make Trump look bad.
Who said this?
Bill Maher.
Yeah, but Bill Maher is not a part of the Democratic Party. He's a comic.
I know, but I used
Bill
a public.
Maher, but he jokes around about that. Like, look, if
Okay,
we can
well-
crash the economy.
Okay,
and get
well,
rid of Trump-
regardless, when Jews try to, or Baptists in New York try to have an event, the police show up and arrest them.
Yes.
But then when Antifa or BLM was going around and burn stuff down, the mayor says it's great. And the mayor said, de Blasio said, this is legitimate. Antifa's legitimate. Your church isn't. Your synagogue isn't. So it's power. It's selective enforcement. It's martial law. I have articles right here because everything I brought today, I have the proof. ABC News is reporting in blue cities in Texas that they're going to come to your house and demand a COVID test, and if you don't, they're going to arrest you. Well, the federal and state courts have ruled they can't do that.
Where's that being said?
El Paso, Texas, and other
But
areas.
I want to bring you back to what you're saying about crash
right
the
now.
economy. You use Bill Maher as an example, and I just don't think that's a credible example because he's a comic.
Well, he said that.
Yeah, but he's a comic, and
Oh,
he's
but they
not
always
a politician.
say
He's
comics
not a
have bigger
politician.
coverage than news people now. That's what Colbert and all them pose as
but
news people.
but Alex, you can't use him as an example of someone who's
Really?
a politician who is calling for
stra-
the economy
yeah,
to
but
crash.
strategically, if I was a Democrat, I wouldn't want things to open up again until Trump was out, right?
Agreed.
Right, I mean, that's strategic.
Agreed.
yeah.
If you wanted, if you
China
didn't want the
wants
economy to return.
China wants us shut down. China admits they're using the virus to keep us shut down.
Do you think he's a bioweapon?
Well, I could give you an hour-long treatise on COVID-19.
Okay, we'll get to that momentarily.
Okay, I don't want to anger you, though.
Before we
No,
get,
I love being here. I'll sit here and tell fart jokes if you want. I'd rather get drunk and just have a good time.
before we get to that,
gonna sit in Tim's lap.
But you
Okay.
said something that I want you to back up. You said that the Democrats are I'm not denying the possibility that this is the case. But this seems like if that was the case, it would be a grand conspiracy that would at least you'd have to have some evidence of this to make that statement that they're trying or they want to crash the economy because they want to maintain power and to change censorship and to change the way
There are
the laws
countless
that
things.
people
Yeah, okay, well, we've had Governor Newsom, we've had Governor
Cuomo.
Whitmer, Cuomo, exactly, all say the economy isn't going to be open because Trump's done a bad job. We're not going to open it until he's gone. And then Whitmer's even come out and
But
just said,
wait a minute, Newsom has openly said that. You sure?
yeah, type it in. I mean,
But what do you think he said? I've
Let's
never.
not-
Listen. I'm a critic of Newsom because of his He's become an autocrat. He's
keeps
become
his
this,
wineries open.
But there's a lot of issues, right? There's a lot of issues. So they close so many things. down.
Joe. Globalism was about selling America off and bankrupting us under Cloward and Piven
That's
strategies.
fine, but don't change the subject.
I'm not.
You, specifically, what Newsom has said.
They can pull it up just like I told you about the AT&T
But
deal.
what did he say that you think? And again, I'm not a fan of him. I'm a critic. Listen, I think you got to give people, grown adults, the choice. If they just look, we don't have overrun hospitals. We don't have people dying in record numbers. We
don't have 5% death rates. We don't have 1%.
They keep saying the cases and the deaths are increasing. That is true. But as long as there's a disease, they're going to increase. The question is, at what rate And the people that are
Joe,
dying,
it's never
how
about
many of them
it's
have
never
comorbidity factors?
It's never about the death rate. It's always about increased infection because the death rate's way down. Now,
The death rate is way down,
As soon as
but-
the winter
but-
hits, they're
but
going to
hold
say
on.
it's flu, and
Alex,
it's the colds. They're going to count as that.
You get me again. When you say the deaths increase, that is going to happen. The question is, by what rate and how many? Right? Well,
You take the normal flu and pneumonia morbidity like they did this year, and you add that to the number. They've already run the same scam, and so whatever they don't count flu as a death or pneumonia anymore. They all count it COVID because they get money on the chart.
Right.
They get
But
$50,000+ when they call it a COVID death plus when they say that. They get $13,000 to say it's a COVID patient, and they get $29,000 or whatever extra when they intubate somebody. And so now, since when is like Congress saying how to do medicine?
Well, isn't the idea that they're doing this to give money to these hospitals to help them in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah.
So
but then the
initial
hospitals
reason to
code
do this-
everything as COVID to get the money. That's come out. They killed most people that died in nursing homes or died from intubation when it's an autoimmune event and you don't want intubation. It's intubation that's killing people.
But they initially thought you did.
But that's why
because it was respiratory
and thank
disease.
God the numbers went down because they stopped intubating.
Yes. That's
So
a big
now it's
factor.
all about everyone's being.
But isn't
Before
that a
there's this
part of
high
a-
death rate because they were intubating and they were counting on, and they were killing old people.
Right.
As soon as they stopped shipping folks to old homes that weren't getting vitamin D because no sun, it went like this. So infections like this, you can pull up the graphs.
Yes.
You know, you're like, what's your science? Pull it up. And infections like this, deaths like this.
Right. Well, you're going up and down, right? Deaths down. Now, what did Gavin Newsom say, though? That when you said that he said it's not going to get better until Trump's out of office.
Well, it's Whitmer that said that specifically, and he said Cuomo because I remember that too. But he was just basically like, well, I want to be friends with Trump. There's been a bad response. We've got to keep the lockdown going, and until Trump does this wrong, until we have a change, it's going to continue on. And then it's always about the power grab, like, oh, it's 2 years we have to do it. No, it's first it's 15 days to keep the hospitals empty, and then it's 6 months, and now it's 2 years. And then Gates said like a week ago, it's 10 years. And now they've got the people, Fauci and others saying, no, it never ends. You never shake hands.
Yeah.
And under the UN rules, they say, don't look at someone and turn your head. So in Europe, you can type this in, citizens in the UK told, do not look at other people and turn your head. It's cult programming, man.
I think it's a pretty common talking point, and some people agree with it. Like a lot of Democrats would say, yeah, it's not going to get better until Trump is out because Trump has made a mess of it. I don't think Trump's done the best job.
that's what he
clearly.
said.
But that's a common talking
What could he have
point.
done better?
Well, I mean,
done
what
better.
could
He shut down flights from
Yeah.
China in February when Pelosi's running around in Chinatown saying, dance.
Yeah. But I think it's a pretty common belief that they're saying, listen, so I don't think it's a conspiracy, or I don't think like you have to find a source. I think it's like they believe if he wasn't in, that it won't get better until he's gone. So I don't think they actively are trying to make it better until he's gone.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
they want to keep the crisis going.
I do see what you're saying. I just
Yeah.
want to know if there's evidence. I want to know if there's an actual statement where he said, after when Trump leaves, then we'll open back up.
That's actually what Whitmer said specifically, but he said similar things. But
All right, well, let's find where
I'm
Whitmer
going from
said
memory
that.
here. I mean, my God.
I understand, but
Jamie.
that's why I'm challenging
I agree.
you on it.
I
Jamie's
love
on
it.
a ventilator.
But
over there.
I'm challenging you on this because
Jamie needs a ventilator.
people online
Get Jamie a
are going to
ventilator.
want to challenge you on this.
Right.
So I want.
Well, that's
I
what
want
they
to
loved about our
find-
last interview over a year and a half ago, which they loved, was that people could go and actually check the stuff I was saying, no
Yes.
matter how crazy
and
they
a lot
found.
of it is true. So I want to find that quote now. See if Whitmer said that it won't get better until Trump's out of office in terms of the lockdown,
Yeah, Whitmer.
restrictions.
Whitmer, lockdown won't end until Trump's out.
And didn't she lose some court case recently?
Yes. Her Supreme Court, but also federal courts have ruled across the country that you can't order churches to wear masks. You can't order social distancing. It's all just getting us to comply.
Don't you think it's a good idea to encourage people to wear masks if they're going into large gatherings?
A lot of
indoors?
studies show that doesn't even protect you. Listen. Trump told the truth a few days ago when he came out and he said, we're never going to control this. We have to learn herd immunity, or if you're really scared of it, take a vaccine. And the head epidemiologist of Rockefeller Hospital came out and said that and got banned on YouTube.
I mean, listen, Italy did social distancing. Italy did masks. Italy did everything you were supposed to do. And they're getting clobbered again. So that makes me think that maybe it's not a bad idea to do these things, but they don't seem to. They don't seem to
Sweden
prevent
didn't
a second wave.
Sweden didn't do any of it, and it's the lowest death rate in Europe.
Right, but it's also a country of small villages. They have a whole different way of life over there.
Well, I mean, Italy is a bunch of 3 generations living in one house.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And they have the oldest people in Europe.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So yeah, and they need
smoke,
sunlight. They smoke.
They're all
good
smoking.
food.
Try finding a gym over there.
Well,
Jesus
they
Christ.
smoke on the treadmill.
It's so fun. Every time I fucking go there, it's hard to find a gym.
Listen, exactly. They
Go
don't
to a restaurant. Enjoy your life.
Joe,
have a restaurant.
Joe, I came out 8 months ago, and I was selling this stuff, but I said get it at the store. Vitamin D, vitamin C,
Zinc.
and zinc. If you have that on the NIH website, it can't, according to the NIH website, cannot replicate inside the mitochondria where the virus plugs into the cell and makes it replicate. Okay? And so like Jones claims he's got a cure. No, it's not a cure. If you've got sunlight and zinc and vitamin C and all these things you need, it's very hard to get these things. That's why it's old people in nursing homes that haven't been outside in years that are dying so easily. Now, Fauci finally 2 months ago came out and said, you need vitamin D, you need vitamin C, and you need zinc.
Well, that is true. And young Jamie takes vitamin D, and he kicked it in a day.
Yes. And vitamin C and zinc.
Young Jamie was feeling bad for a day.
But I don't want to argue, Joe. I want to just say I love Bill Gates.
Okay. I use Windows.
I'm looking for the
Tell me
quote. I can't find
Whitmer's quote.
a specific quote that says that. There's lots of quotes about them going back and forth, obviously, because they've had a public battle.
I just think anybody like that, whether it's Bill Gates or Bezos or anybody who's a billionaire, if they say, here's the suggested course of action, they have to expect that they're going to be criticized. And a lot of these guys don't like taking any criticism when they're issuing edicts. These are billionaires that are saying, this is how we're going to live.
Yeah, that's the next big question.
This amount of
Isn't
vaccinations.
it strange, though, that Bill Gates, who is not a health expert, is all of a sudden one of the leading voices?
Yeah, it's strange.
But that's my
curious.
next question.
Yeah.
Why is Bill Gates, who's not a doctor, suddenly on TV telling me how my life's going to go and what I'm going to do? This is the most important part.
Why is this a big project for him?
Well, he's also a guy that wanted to shoot a missile of dust into the atmosphere to help climate change. I mean, very few people in history have had the resources to even think of doing something like that.
That's right. He wants to have jets spray chemicals to block the sun.
Right. And the scientists went,
have heard of before, Joe?
No good. They went, not a good idea. So, and then if you call him on that, he goes, the lies and the conspiracy theories. It's like, no, we're just asking you why you want to shoot missiles into space.
He went on CBS News and they go, 80% of those taking your vaccine trial are getting very sick. Some are dying. He's like, well, that's just how it is. You can pull these clips up.
What?
Yeah.
He said that's just how it is?
Yeah, he said, well, the FDA is going to approve it. I like
Look
this.
at you. He's beat red. Look at you. You're blending in with the walls.
But yeah, it's a problem. That's hilarious. That's a problem. It's a problem.
I'm kind of retarded.
This is listen.
Yeah,
this is
that meme
remember.
is hilarious.
For 2 years, they said Trump worked for. I've heard of political mudslinging my whole life. For 2 years, they said Trump was an agent of Russia. He was an asset of Russia. The president. Then they did a whole report. And then it came out that he wasn't. There was no proof of it. With the CIA, the NSA, everybody. And then they went like this. They went, well, we might have been wrong about that. I mean, that's mind-blowing.
One of the
Also,
most
they're-
disturbing things to me was when Ted Cruz was cross-examining Comey when he was asking him
Yeah.
questions about what they did with evidence and how they doctored evidence. What do you got, Jamie? Oh.
I just can't believe that Brian Redband is here.
He saved us. Brian flew in when Jamie tested positive for cooties. And we
Have I
had
known
to have
him like
a
16
direct
years?
protocol. Yeah,
Yeah.
forever. So we had to have the protocol was
Yeah.
you have to be 10 days and you have to
Yeah.
test negative 3 days
Should
in a row.
Brian move here?
Before you come. Yeah, Brian's going to move here. He's looking at houses right now.
You are too.
Tim's going to move
I
here.
might.
You're moving here, bitch.
I might.
Come on, son.
I don't
Brian.
know. I gotta save LA first from the Satanists.
Listen, it's not coming back. That
I know.
Hey, let's talk
the
about
clubs are
that.
Not coming back.
Please, a little bit of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight Joe.
We're not fighting.
No one's fighting.
And I'm not. I mean, but this much apple
It's a
juice,
little
I'm
bit-
having trouble thinking.
It's okay. It's okay. I love you.
No, you
We're
did
fine.
this. Just have some.
No, I can't. I made a promise.
But on election night, I can pop in.
Yes,
We're gonna have one.
that's
right.
November 3rd. That's November.
But I will be able to
have
pop in.
6 more.
I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
we're very excited.
Put that down. I have 6 more days of sobriety.
That's gonna be a fun
But
night.
I gotta be honest. I'm a little high from this cigar.
Hey, you couldn't have a bigger promo for your election night. I'm glad you actually announced it here.
Well, Kyle Kalinski's been asking when he could announce it, so now you know, Kyle. There you go. It's official.
There you go, Kyle.
I'm excited to get everybody in the room
All right,
and watch
listen,
the
I
demise
wanna
of
cover
Western
some of this real
civilization
stuff here.
in real time.
Can I show you some stuff?
Yeah, what do you got? Do we ever find a quote for Whitmer?
I can't find anything. I mean,
Okay.
there's lots of quotes, but I can't find.
Do you want me to find it?
Can you? Just Google on your phone, and Tim and I will talk amongst ourselves.
Okay,
and
go
then
ahead.
we'll pull up whatever that is.
Okay.
Gretchen Whitmer,
what
they
I
almost
have.
kidnapped her, by the
Here
way.
it is.
No, I don't have it. I'm just saying.
Oh,
That's what I
Whitmer
typed
when
in.
Trump leaves office quote.
She was almost
not how you
like
find it.
there was a kidnapping plot against her,
No, it's
Yes.
Whitmer.
which 50% of the
Lockdowns won't end till Trump gone. That's just come on.
right.
Lockdowns won't end till Trump gone. Try that.
Whatever. I know it's true.
Try
I don't
that.
need to find it.
Whitmer, lockdowns won't end till Trump gone. He'll find it. Yeah, the plot to assassinate her. What the fuck
It was a
that all
plot to
about?
like kidnap her. That was weird. But
And
I'm
I
sure it's
predicted
murder,
up
right?
front that it was going to be FBI provocateurs, and it turned out the two leaders were FBI informants.
what? What's even crazier is 52% of the citizens in Michigan agreed with the plot. That's a joke.
It's a good one.
They're gonna edit that part where you say that's a joke.
Joe Rogan's guest calls for kidnapping.
This is outrageous. Deplatform.
This is central control.
When I went on Alex's show, Alex goes, Snopes always goes and finds like jokes he makes, and they go, correction, Hillary Clinton is not an Oompa Loompa.
Did you guys see that Brett Weinstein's Unity 2020 account was also banned from
My
Twitter?
producer just told me that.
It
Yeah.
was, his Unity 2020 account which was calling for a third party, was calling for unity between people on the right and the left to get together and have conversations and perhaps even have an alternative candidate.
That's outrageous.
Well, he's a fucking scholar, and he's a guy who became famous because he was a professor at Evergreen University, and the leftists took over the college.
When they said we're going to shut it down and whites can't come one day a month,
Yeah.
they had,
and then they banned him.
yes, well, they didn't
Froze it.
just ban him. They went looking for him in the parking lot
They
with a
chased
baseball
around
bat.
with baseball bats, yeah.
It was terrifying
So-
shit.
so let me ask
and
this.
then the principal was going along with everything. Literally, they yelled at the principal, "Don't gesture with your hands." Because you're threatening us, but he was talking like this,
Right.
like,
Oh,
put
did
your
you hear?
hands
They
out.
started
And then they
laughing
started
at him.
laughing
Yeah.
at him.
British universities like Oxford, I think is the one. Look it up. Oxford or Cambridge, one of the big ones. You can't clap. It's a microaggression, Joe.
Oh, that's so crazy. But this is what we were talking about for years, and people were saying, why are you concerned with what happens in the universities? It's the same thing we were saying about censorship. Because it keeps going. It
never
doesn't
stops,
stop.
yeah.
When you allow that kind of nonsense in universities, those kids graduate, and they want to carry these goofy fucking practices into all of these
So
corporations.
let me ask you
and
about
you're
this
seeing
question.
that now. You're seeing that now.
It's one of the things I wrote down I wanted to ask you, Joe and Tim Dillon. What happens? Where do they stop? Because they're going to keep running until they hit opposition, which is starting to happen. How far does it go?
I was hoping there was going to be some sort of a federal regulation. I was hoping that Trump was going to step in and they were going to amend the First Amendment to include social media. Because I think what you're seeing now, the argument that these are just private corporations, I don't think that argument is valid anymore because the impact that they have, the significance of being able to speak or not being able to speak has massive implications on our election. We see this with the New York Post being
election
censored.
meddling.
We see it with the New York Post being censored with this Hunter Biden story. Whether you agree with the story being leaked or not, the fact that the New York fucking Post, which is a legitimate newspaper, as outrageous as they are, and the fact that the fucking White House press secretary gets banned from Twitter for tweeting that link.
That's very dangerous.
This is crazy.
I mean, I think it leads to violence, because if you take everybody's ability to communicate away, there's nothing left to do but commit acts of violence.
And by the way, that's a Kennedy quote. Those
Right.
that make peaceful revolution.
Jamie found something.
This is as close as I could get to what he's asking for to be found.
Okay, the Trump virus response is the worst in the globe, she said. If you're tired of lockdowns, or you're tired of wearing masks, or you wish you were in church this morning, or watching college football, or your kids were getting in-person instruction, it's time for a change in this country, and that's why we've got to elect Joe Biden.
I mean, that's pretty.
That's why I mean
You can
you
make
could
that.
say whatever you want almost.
Yeah.
But that's the common sentiment,
worded
right?
in here.
This is
Right, but
pretty
the
much
problem is if you just take it from if you're tired of lockdowns,
And then
you would get one interpretation of it. But if you back it up to the Trump virus response is the worst in the globe, she said, if you're tired of lockdowns. So what she's saying
I think
is
we're splitting hairs.
You're not necessarily, because what she's
Okay, well,
saying
I
is
saw a clip
Trump,
of her in a
hold
speech
please,
saying that.
because that's the problem with taking something out of context. What she's saying
listen,
He's a wonderful person.
Trump's
Yeah.
done. No, I'm not saying that. What she's saying is that Trump has done such a shitty job. That's the reason why we're locked down. You can't go to church.
I get it. I get it. The headline
I
was...
don't know if that's true, though. I think when you got a contagious disease, you got people flying in from Europe and China and all these other countries that are
China.
expressing. You're going to have spread. I mean, this is a fucking insanely contagious disease.
Listen,
Joe,
we
one
have
of my
to- we have
favorite
to
parts of your
kidnap
show is when you ask Jamie for something and the light turns on when you're looking at it. Let me ask you this. You're into numerology.
How hammered are you right now on scale of 1 to 10?
Not at all.
We're into numerology. This is when it gets good.
You better...
Okay.
Let's talk. Just be nice to me, Joe.
I am being nice to you.
You got me here. I know you are. Let's get serious. Everybody wants to hear what I actually have to say.
Okay. Numerology?
What was the question? You had me on 9/11,
Yes.
1255, now 1555.
Yeah, don't connect the dots. Just, I'm in town. It's random.
Well,
It's
you
a
told
normal-
me you
it's a good
picked
time.
9/11 on purpose.
Yeah, that was on purpose.
Okay,
Yeah, it was just fun. But this...
There's nothing bad.
This is... See, do you understand how this quote, you could interpret that in a different way? Like, I think
the
what she's
entire
saying
Democratic
is that...
Party strategy
I understand.
is to say Trump is to blame for COVID
What
and to
she's
say the
saying-
economy shut down till you get them elected.
I don't
and
think
that
that's
they'll-
what she's saying.
They're all saying.
I understand that
Joe
you can
Biden's
interpret
like,
it that
we're going to
way.
end this COVID by endless lockdowns once Trump's out. If you want to go back to normal, do this. And their own, listen, this is a end of civilization event. The Rockefellers and others put out Operation Lockstep. They're never going to stop this. They're going to have COVID tracking. They're going to have checkpoints. They're going to have apps on your
So
phones.
how do we stop this?
What Trump came out and did and said, we cannot defeat this with vaccines and with COVID tracking, with shutdowns. It's going to have to be with herd immunity, which is what the scientists actually brought articles
Why
saying.
can't we beat it with what he beat it with? He's 74 and he eats French fries every day. This motherfucker kicked it in 4 days.
That's what I'm
That's
telling
supposed
you.
to be a death sentence
Joe,
for old
if
people.
you've got vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc, it's very hard to get to die
Okay,
from
but
this.
clearly he's got more than vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc. He's got a bunch of medical treatments, right?
Well, he was given Regeneron. He was given things that are expensive and probably not widely available.
But wait a minute, Jamie tested positive. He's right over there a day later.
Jamie's young and viral.
But I'm saying, since when does something come
it's a weird
along
word.
and
I never
and
seen
we
Jamie's
go,
also vi- he's also
civilization is
viral.
over. Civilization is over
Viral.
because of this thing that came out of China. And you're not even supposed to come. You want to ask where COVID came from? You ask what it is?
Jamie,
what is
do you
it?
feel
What-
better about the disease now that you kicked it so quickly?
I mean,
How-
not
how
at-
old are
not
you?
at first.
How old are you?
37.
37?
At first, I was a little worried for the first day. I was like,
You're like,
well,
oh, shit.
Here we go. Are we going down like a 2-week, 3-week, 4-week?
Ventilator time?
Months.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Because
Sure.
you've talked to people on the show that have been fucked up by it.
Sure. And
Yeah.
How lucky am I going to be today is also
Right.
what I was thinking. Like,
And
But
you,
still
but you were
statistically-
also taking all the vitamins.
I mean, I got all that. We had NAD and all that stuff too in my system.
Yeah.
So like, maybe that helped. Could
I'm
have
sure.
helped. Hopefully it helped.
Sure did, of course. Statistically, they said 5% of us will be dead. It's not even
Well, they thought
0.1%. Okay,
this
but
is what they thought.
But they're the all-powerful gods. It's like the UN says, you will not question us. Big Tech says, you will not question anything the UN says. Meanwhile, the UN's like, oh, we shouldn't do a lockdown. It's killing millions of people, starvation. But still, it's like, we're keeping the lockdown going, the United Nations said.
Well, what do you think should be done?
I mean, I think we should look at something that isn't much worse than the flu and say we all need natural vitamins and nutraceuticals and sunlight and health, and people should just know they got to deal with it the way it is, because we always get diseases, we always get viruses, we always live with it. The idea we got to lock society down and go into our houses, and this is a post-industrial move that they're using to roll out these systems to keep us locked down in our homes.
Right, and if you want to be cynical, this is where you step in and say the reason why they want us to be upset and they want the economy to be fucked is because they hate the president and they want him out of office and they want to regain power. They want the
They
Democrats
want to
in
remake
office.
the American economy in the image of what they want. They want to remake a lot of these systems that they feel are, for whatever reason, unjust or unjust or whatever, and they want to use this opportunity to kind of redraw the lines. And
Exactly.
They did that after 9/11.
Exactly. This is the new 9/11. The UN and the Davos group all say this is the post-industrial world, the Great Reset. I got a copy of it right here. And they say in these documents, we are going to reorganize society. COVID is good to shut down the carbon. Carbon is bad. We're going to end success. We're going to end prosperity. We're going to track everybody. We're going to control their lives, all under the name of COVID.
They said all that. They said we're going to end success. We're going to end prosperity.
Yeah, in the lockstep Rockefeller document 2010, they say we'll have a viral release or a simulated one that creates total fear. We'll bring in a police state, martial
Is
law.
this available for someone to read?
Absolutely.
Alex, wasn't there
Okay.
something called Agenda
Try to
21 or
find that.
something where they were saying we want people living in cities, we don't want home ownership, we don't want-
Compact cities, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is-
and then
yeah.
you were saying it earlier. They go, oh, it's for the greater good that we don't have cars anymore. It's for the greater good we don't
No,
have
that's
single.
not what I was saying. What I was doing was playing devil's
No,
advocate.
you were quoting them.
Yeah. What I was saying, there's
I'm not saying you said that,
autonomous-
Joe. You believe in that.
I
You
was
believe in
saying
homes.
that autonomous. I do believe in cars too. Autonomous vehicles are in the future, at least, likely to be safer than people just driving and texting.
Well, it's not safe giving control over these corporations and robots and making ourselves obsolete. We need to build a pro-human future.
Well, I'm pro-human. But
No, I know you are.
wanna
I'm not
know
saying you're
the
not, Joe.
Rockefeller thing from 2010. So, sounds a weird
So
segue.
I've
I'm
already,
pro-human.
I started, and I was already looking this up as he mentioned it because I was going down my own little rabbit hole. It says when I first started to find it, my first search just says there's a large conspiracy has been built out of a small grain of truth from this document from 2010.
Okay.
That's what it starts to say. So I haven't.
Oh, is that
gotten-
Snopes?
Small
There's
grain
this-
of truth.
Yeah.
So Snopes is
let's-
like God. It's like
I don't think, is it Snopes that you Googled?
Let's
this?
focus on the grain of
no,
truth.
no. Who says it's a grain of truth?
Trying to hold on. I got a lot. Of
No, no.
here.
It's Operation Lockstep, and it says a global police state will be brought in from a pandemic, and there'll be worldwide martial law. It actually says it in the document.
Okay.
It's like they always go like, "Oh, there's no Hunter emails." They admit the emails are real.
Right.
I love that clock.
It is weird that they're
beautiful
saying
clock.
GGT Studios.
Okay,
Wait,
here's-
it is weird.
Here's the document.
Okay.
Where-
The
where-
Rockefeller Foundation Annual Report 2010.
I'll control F. What would you like me to look up?
Look up police state. Look up.
Yeah, just look up police state.
Don't forget the exact words. I mean, let's just go read it for yourself, man.
Control F police
Nothing
state.
came up.
This is just one paper. That's it.
I mean, that's the whole PDF is here. It's like it's really, really, really long.
So when you control F
Yeah, it would
police
come
state,
up. Nothing
nothing.
came up.
Okay. What else?
I mean, I've read it before. It says that. So anybody can go read it right now.
so you think they edited it?
No. It's. I mean, I can't remember the exact words.
Okay.
It's-
Well, let's look up pandemic. Look up pandemic.
Pandemic just means widely distributed. Epidemic means you're actually sick.
4 mentions of the word pandemic.
Okay. All right. With no network to transfer critical infectious disease information without open lines of communications, thousands more fall sick. The new, in quotes, disease becomes an unchecked pandemic. By the time the right expertise is brought to bear on the
push for
problem,
world government.
it's too late. The disease has spread around the globe. In a world of global trade and travel, what's traded faster and travels furthest are the microbes in every handshake. Southeast Asia. So what is this in reference to? Okay, it says a few miles east, young boy and his men. No, hold on, please go back to that. Yeah, it's just a scenario that they're painting. So make that a little larger. No, go back to it. Just go back to where it was. All right. The potential pandemic of the past few decades have severely tested the world's ability to work across human borders. Detection remains weak in many parts of the world. The public health response has frequently been slow and fragmented. The looming threat of infectious disease presents humanity with a new challenge to communicate and collaborate swifter and with greater efficiency than ever before. That doesn't sound like they're trying to end the world.
Okay, well, you're just reading one of these documents. I can pull up the articles. I can show it to you yourself.
understand, but it's
world government controlled. They talk about a worldwide police state. You search the term pandemic. I'm telling you what's in these things.
Okay, emerging pandemics, the new century, SARS, avian flu, and swine flu. If we don't move
Investigated
quickly,
systems to bring in
but
global
it
government.
seems like they're trying to prevent pandemics. If
they
we
love
don't
us.
move quickly, viruses will. By continuing our drive to invest in systems that coordinate efforts and share information, the Rockefeller Foundation is working to ensure
which is the global
that we
government
have the
controlling
ability
all of this.
to meet the health challenges of an interconnected world.
Isn't the perfect analogy terrorism? Because it's like terrorism exists. People want to prevent terrorism, but it's like, how many rights do you give up in order to do that? And then, all these proactive measures that we take to prevent terrorism, a lot of them create more terrorists. So I think it's like a balance of remaining a free society and dealing with a lot of these problems.
Listen, I sit here, we sit here and we talk about something, and whether Jamie can find it or not becomes the arbiter whether it's real. So they found something about an AT&T lobbying, but they didn't find a thing about this. I've got the Operation Lockstep documents where they say we're going to bring in this global authoritarian police
but
state.
you have to show us those.
Well, I mean, I'm sitting here in studio talking to you about this.
But I understand. I
That's
understand.
all- that's
I
all
understand what
internet.
you're saying. But we wanted to try to.
But
read
you know
it.
everybody else watching this is going to go look it up.
Well, I hope they do.
They're going to go crazy.
I hope we.
No, that's
I
good.
wish we could have found it right then if it's real.
No, I know you want to show it.
But it might be an interpretation of what they're saying, like the Whitmer
No,
quote.
it says specifically.
The Whitmer quote is just a criticism of Trump. She's blaming all this lockdown.
No, Whitmer
on
was
Trump.
found by the Supreme Court of Michigan and by a federal court to have seized all three branches of governments and basically set up martial law. They even used those terms. And she was overturned.
When you say in that quote, I want to, when you say if you are sick of lockdowns
Yes.
and you're sick of not being able to go to church, Joe Biden should be elected.
Agreed.
That is not a huge jump from what he said.
No, it's not a huge
Yeah,
jump.
yeah.
But the problem is the way it's being said. She was talking about how bad Trump handled the rate of infection first.
Of course. And that's
All right, well, let's expand on that. I remember like interviewing Lou Dobbs like 15 years ago, back when he was still on CNN. We were looking at documents where it said we're going to bring in global government, the North American Union, using the threat of viruses, migration flows, and economic collapse. And they said like a deadly flu or a deadly SARS.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here watching this power grab, watching the UN and big tech saying, well, you can't say that the UN's wrong because the UN's in charge. Since when is the news, WHO, and all these doctors, all these medical doctors that come out and say other things other than like how steroids cured it or, you know, how hydroxychloroquine helped it? How are they being banned? Even if they were wrong, they should have their license removed. That's what that's about. It's not Google decides that if something isn't the UN, it's taken down. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it is a problem that they're deciding which doctors to listen to and which doctors not to. When there is some real controversy as to how to handle the virus with treatment.
Right.
What treatment is effective and what isn't effective. Now, it turns out there's a lot of doctors that think that hydroxychloroquine isn't effective. There's some doctors that thought it was, and they think that a combination of zinc and but the problem is the people that are deciding what gets taken down or not
That's a huge
taken
problem.
down.
And the problem is that the doctors who go, well, we think, you know, it's like we've minimized the voices of the people that are saying one thing.
Right.
And we've elevated the voices of the people that are saying another thing. And it's like, that becomes the real issue. Whether people like Trump, there's stuff to criticize about Trump. We all know that.
And in their defense, they're doing it because they think that people are going to do something foolish and they're going to go out and spread the virus further because
It's not the media's job, though, this is the problem. I think the media has taken on this really activist role where they are now...
Worse. It's not the media.
Worse, yeah.
Social media. Social media
too,
companies,
yeah.
not even necessarily the media, where you have like legitimate journalists that are taking on this role.
Do you think he would do something in his second term about social media?
I think he certainly is going to do something. He has
Why
to,
hasn't he done something already?
Because it's so complex, because they'll claim it's election meddling, even though they're doing that at the same time. What we have is multinational corporations acting in tandem that are already making the nation state obsolete. They're creating a information warfare monopoly, and they're censoring people and using that power they have. And we just sit here denying it's going on until it's too late. I mean, it's a really serious situation.
And it is a crazy situation where all of these tech companies all lean left, all of them.
Yeah, they do.
They lean left and they support. Like there's no tech companies that are out there supporting Donald Trump. There's no tech companies.
What's very interesting is these tech companies. They're very wealthy people, right? They're insanely wealthy.
But David Pakman had a really good point about that. That they like when it comes to their financial dealings, they're very conservative.
They're very libertarian and conservative.
Oh, they don't pay taxes.
Right.
I mean, Google pays almost taxes. What I'm telling you. Does Apple complain about Chinese slave factories in China? No. It's just what I'm telling you is it's all BS. And when you study what they're doing, I can sit on my phone and pull it up. They talk about in lockstep bringing in a global authoritarian system. They talk about riots. They talk about war.
If you could find that article, send it to Jamie.
Jamie
got something?
I found something, but I'm trying to understand what it's saying because it's speaking about years in the future as though they've already happened.
Well, we're not too far away from.
Let's see it
Yeah.
because like they're
archive.
painting another scenario, just like they painted with that infection scenario.
Archive.org. I found.
Okay.
I went to the second page of this link, but this is like scenario narratives. It says lockstep.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about pandemics from 2012 and the SARS and all sorts of, H1N1. So I skipped into the next page while you guys were talking, and this is the part that's a little strange, which is getting into what I think he is now talking about.
Where's that? Can you highlight it?
It started here because it says something about Kenya in 2025 and people being weary of top-down.
Okay, by 2025, people seem to be growing weary of so much top-down control and letting leaders and authorities make choices for them. Wherever national interest clashed with individual interest, there was conflict. Sporadic pushback becomes increasingly organized and coordinated as disaffected youth and people who have seen their status and opportunities slip away, largely in developing countries, incited civil unrest. By 2026, protesters in Nigeria brought down the government. Fed up with the entrenched cronyism and corruption, even those who liked the greater stability and predictability of this world began to grow uncomfortable and constrained by so many tight rules and by the strictness of national boundaries. The feeling lingered that sooner or later something would inevitably upset the neat order that the world's governments had worked so hard to establish.
Okay, I never read that, but that's the other stuff. It's in there. It's thousands of pages, man.
Okay.
It talks about global police state and worldwide riots. And
I mean, we're not that far away. There's
It's weird
people
that
are
the way
saying
they're writing that, because they're writing it almost like
I've never seen that part. I'm just saying it says stuff like that.
But
Well,
that's
listen, look at the ideas like the EU, right? It's a supranational financial architecture. People are saying that borders are racist. People are saying that the idea of America is racist. The country is, the idea of a country or a nation state is racist. There is this growing idea or ideology that global governance is a good thing, or that nation states are, exclusionary.
Well, it comes down to this.
racist.
It's not that nation states are perfect. Multinational corporations are bigger and operate, in many cases, more powerfully than governments.
Correct, yeah.
And so they want control, and they say they want control, and they're going to use racial differences between two countries to play them off against each other, and they're going to use global crises to centralize global control. And that's what they say in these white papers is the corporations are using this for global control, and there will be rebellions against it. That's what I read.
And then people have more loyalty to multinational corporations and more loyalty. They have more in common with people that live in London or Davos or Switzerland than they do to their American citizens. And that becomes the problem.
But you've got Google and Facebook executives on jumbo jets and mansions telling us we've got to lower our carbon footprint and be poor. They're hypocrites. It doesn't hold water.
Yeah.
How do we get out of
There
this?
it is. Authoritarian capitalism. I mean, I remember, I don't have it in front of me, but I was reading the lockstep Rockefeller documents, and they predicted worldwide police state, authoritarianism, civil war. I mean,
they're predicting in 2018. It says, will Africa's embrace of authoritarian capitalism a la China continue? And then Vietnam to require a solar panel in every home in 2022. And then in 2025,
yeah, that's not the same documents I saw, but
trade.
that's the question is.
It's weird the way they're writing this. They're writing this as if they're predicting.
Already happened.
Yeah, they're talking about it like they're seeing the future and like almost like it's fiction.
But
They're
Joe,
talking about it like it's
here's
an
Trump
inevitability.
saying
Yeah.
we're not going to control the pandemic. You don't. You get used to it. You get over it. You fight it with nutraceuticals. You fight it with with therapeutics. It's the idea that. And Bill Gates came out 2 weeks ago and he goes, we'll be shut down for 10 years.
Is that what he said?
He said, yeah.
Wow.
He said, this goes on for 10 years until there's not one corona case. Well, they picked the perfect problem they can never defeat.
But isn't that crazy? Like you see a guy like Jamie who literally kicked it in a day. And they're saying we're going to close down the world for 10 days.
Well, it's
or 10
also like
years.
the war on terror is still going on. I mean,
yeah, they want to,
I mean,
exactly. They want a problem that never goes away.
Yeah, it's never going to. I mean, the Cold War went on forever. I mean, this is just, they like these things.
So, but we've entered into 3 hours in here, or 2.5 hours in here. We've entered into this weird spot. We're like, okay, what could be
Where
done?
you're going to drink whiskey.
Yeah.
All right,
What
I've
could
already
be
been
done?
invited to election night. I'm here.
What could be done? What can be done?
Man, all I know is I try to tell the truth. I make mistakes, but I'm sitting here with these notes I've written where I read what globalists say. I gave you that Wall Street Journal article where they go, we're impure that we can get sick. It's time to get rid of all humans and merge with machines. It's so beautiful. I think, well, that's just one kook. And then it's almost all these people. And really, they're just trying to convince the public to all roll over and die.
But wait a minute. Isn't that a provocative article by a journalist who's trying to paint a rosy picture of our symbiotic relationship with technology? I mean, when someone's saying, literally saying looking forward to the end of humanity. It's a provocative article. It's like,
But that's the nihilistic attitude these people actually pick up. I mean,
yes, it is, but it's also sort of this inevitable, if you extrapolate from where we are now with technology to where we're going to be in 20, 30 years. And when you look at things like Neuralink and you look at a lot of this technology that they're coming up with.
But we're talking about big tech censoring us. I don't want them plugged into my goddamn brain.
Yeah, it's probably a bad
problem.
idea. It seems like a bad idea to have them invade your body.
Well, when you're talking about centralized power like that, it is a bad idea.
It's not a good idea.
It's a bad idea to give them
All
power
I'm saying
over
is,
speech.
Joe, and
It's
I'm
a
glad
bad
you're
idea.
here. I'm glad you're here. I'm very excited to be here tonight, and I really appreciate you. We have to get people to debate the fact that there's people, engineers and technocrats choosing their course, and that the public is not involved in deciding that course.
Well, I hope people are starting to understand when you see the White House press secretary get banned from Twitter, when you see the New York Post links get banned from Twitter, I hope people are starting to understand that giving people power, giving large groups power over whether it's national discourse, whether it's policy, any of these things, it's bad. It's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
You don't want to give Alex Jones
fathers,
power.
The founding fathers, although they didn't predict technology, they didn't predict the internet, they did predict what happens when you give human beings ultimate power.
Right.
I mean,
Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
so Joe, you just said it. So let me ask this question. Because you got a huge audience. We can really change the world right now. I think we've done a good.
No one's listening.
No, they're listening.
There's no one.
If you want to change the world, you go on Alyssa Milano's show.
That's the show.
Yeah,
Dude.
No.
I only get 3 times as many listeners as her.
People that are zombies don't matter. I'm sorry about being mean.
I'm sure she won't take zombie offense.
Let me tell you,
I don't think zombies.
Did
are
you
one of
guys
the
hear what I
nicest things
said?
you can say about it.
Yeah.
Listen, you can look at Tony Podesta or John Podesta and laugh at them. They run the Democratic Party. It came out 2 months ago in the New York Times bragging that they were in the meeting when they were wargaming on thousands of people listening on a telephone call. And they go, we're not going to concede, and we're going to have the country break up, and we're going to have secession, and we're going to call for the UN to invade America.
How fucked up would it be if all this stuff actually comes true the
if
way
this
you're describing
happens,
it?
this will be fucking insane. I have to use
And
it. Can I use a bathroom?
Yeah, go ahead. But when people are talking about, be careful with that camera. Don't bump that camera.
But I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying they're saying it. Because if it doesn't happen, I'll be glad. But they're like, oh, Jones is saying this is happening.
No, I know you will be glad.
They're literally
but
saying
if this does happen, this podcast can be heavily criticized, right? We are all aware of this. But when we knew that coming in. But when this goes down, if this goes down the way you're describing it, how eerie would this be?
Well, it would be very eerie.
Eerie.
It would be very scary because, let me tell you, this is what they're saying they're going to do. Now, I hope they don't do it. But they are saying that they're going to contest the election when they lose. And if Trump tries to declare it, big tech has implemented this AI system that's going to block hundreds of millions of Americans from being able to say Trump won election night.
Yeah. And
so that's why election night is so spectacular.
And some people can say, well, there's never been voter fraud before, or voter fraud has been so minuscule in the past. That is true. But however, the ability to vote by mail in advance never really existed like it exists now.
Exactly.
And
80 million ballots put out there. 80 million ballots put out there as a total wild card.
So who is counting all these ballots?
It's the locales. It's whoever grabs them. It's whoever puts in the false names. There's been a bunch of people arrested for...
Right, but if you're in a democratically controlled state, and so who is controlling and counting those ballots?
Brian Redband.
He's a good guy. He'll tell us the truth.
Brian, get over here real quick. He's over for 2 minutes.
Okay.
We need Brian. No, I mean, seriously, I don't know what's going to happen, Joe. I know the Democrat chief strategist says we're going to contest the election. We're going to break the country up like Civil War 1862, and we're going to do all this, and we're going to say that. Go ahead.
They found water on the moon.
Oh, bye. Awesome.
They did find water on the moon. 6 months before they said that, Buzz Aldrin called me up.
And he said there's water on the moon?
And he goes, they're going to crash an Indian probe in there. It's like, 2007 or something. They're going to crash an Indian probe on the moon. But I want you to know we already crashed one. They're going to find the water. I was like, thank you, Buzz Aldrin.
So he called you up?
Yep.
Does Buzz call you often?
No, he's called me like 3 times.
Are you ever shocked? Are you like? He's like, it's Alex's Buzz
Well,
Aldrin.
it actually got like
you-
20 million views
Yeah.
before they took it off YouTube. He was on the show one time, and he goes, "My secretary really likes you on there." He goes, "Is she a hottie? You're lucky I'm doing this." I'm like, "Well, yes, sir." And he goes, "There is the moon of Mars that is where the real obelisk is, 2001, and the aliens created the pyramids." And I just wanted to tell you, Alex, you got a good
What? He said the aliens created the pyramids?
Yeah, and there was an obelisk on Mars.
I
Was
heard
you
that
listening?
part.
Yeah.
That's not as shocking. The Buzz Aldrin said the aliens created the pyramids?
I'm telling you, I was contacted by Buzz Aldrin's secretary. And
Okay.
I'm not making this up. It's just real.
I don't believe you are.
And so it's like, whenever this was, like 12 years ago, whatever, 10 years ago, whatever it was. Like, hey, Buzz Aldrin wants to come on. So we checked. It's Buzz Aldrin. He wants to talk about his new book. And once he gets on, he goes, "It is the sole moon, Choron," or whatever it's called. Look up the moon of. I went off memory, so I get this stuff wrong sometimes, of Mars. He goes, "That is where the true obelisk is, and that will give us the data tapes to go to the next level. And I just wanted you to know that because you're a good person, that the pyramids were created by aliens, and we're doing important work."
There he is. Buzz Aldrin admits aliens built the pyramids and Phobos monument. Oh, the
Yeah,
monolith.
he said it after he talked to me on C-SPAN, yeah. And
So he
Phobos,
said it? He
yeah,
really said
he
aliens
did,
built the pyramids?
I swear to God.
This guy really went off the reservation. Like, do you think NASA's like doing a better vetting process now? Because this guy
Well,
really.
it's, he's had tough times.
Well, he just endorsed Trump.
Oh, did he?
Why did he endorse Trump? All the military endorsed Trump. All the police unions.
But listen,
endorsed
I'm not
Trump.
bragging. I don't know why. I thought he had him on about a book he wrote. He starts telling me about aliens, the pyramids, and the freaking.
Let me ask you this. What did you think about the Pentagon saying recently that they've recovered crafts that are not of this world?
I think it's probably true.
I think it's probably true as well.
I think we're like the ditch, like a movie theater.
When I talked to
there's stuff in the ditch, like
Yeah.
when I talked to Commander Fravor, who is the guy who saw that the Tic Tac UFO off the coast of San Diego, the way he describes it and the video footage that they got of this thing, and his take on it is fucking chilling.
Yeah.
That thing went from 60,000
The
feet
Tic Tac?
above Tic Tac.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like a Tic Tac. Like
That's
a little
Joe's
moon.
new code name. It's Tic Tac.
I thought it was a TikTok UFO. I'm like,
No,
wait,
no.
what?
Yeah, you look.
It's a huge problem.
No, it's
My
this little
fucking
Tic Tac
12-year-old
thing there,
TikToking
Jason.
in the house.
And what did he say about it?
Yeah.
He said that this thing went from 60,000 feet above sea level to 1 inside of a second. They
Wow.
said it defied propulsion by any understanding that we have of physics. The way it moved was insane. It was actively blocking tracking systems, which is an act of war. He
That's nothing to do.
describes
Is they block all the radar.
you could listen to him on my podcast, but I would actually recommend you listen to him on Lex Friedman's podcast. It's available on YouTube, and Lex does an amazing job of talking to him and breaking down.
Let's
the
do that,
technical
Joe. What do you
aspects.
think the universe is? What do you think? Let's talk real. What's the
Here
secret of
it
the
is.
universe?
Totally legit report says Buzz Aldrin saw aliens when he was up in
That's
space.
sarcasm.
Oh. Well, that's not.
Joe, is that
totally
you in the
legit.
photo?
They said that
No.
he tried.
I don't look like that. How
Somebody
dare you?
reached out to his people and they said that it's bogus and we don't know where it came from.
It's bogus. We don't know where it
Well,
came from.
he came on my show and said that.
The pyramid thing? The pyramid quote? He said it's bogus?
The UFO
Yeah.
thing.
Well, maybe they pulled him aside.
But Joe,
Said, "Buzz."
let's have fun here.
Lay off the
Everybody's
weed.
watching. It's an epic podcast. Part 3, Joe Rogan. I want to know. So what do you think runs the universe? What do you think the secret is? Who are the DMT elves? When's the last time you took DMT?
It's been a couple of years. I don't think that there is any doubt that there's other life out there. It's a matter of if it contacts us regularly, whether or not it's contacted us, or why it comes and why it visits. Or Jacques Vallée, I believe, I think his perception is not that they're from another planet, but that would be probably the least spectacular answer, and that they could be interdimensional travelers. Some people believe that they're time travel. And Jacques Vallée is the guy who Steven Spielberg, he modeled that French scientist in Close Encounters of the Third
Yeah,
Kind after
yeah.
him. He's a really, really interesting guy. And
Well,
he's
that's
been
what I
talking about
personally
this
believe
forever.
is it's interdimensional.
It could be that. It could be that our understanding of reality itself is very limited. It's like, if you wave your hand above certain insects, they have no idea you're even there, right? They lack the ability to detect it. That we have senses that we assume are the only senses that are available. And it is entirely likely that there are many dimensions that we don't have access to. right? And this is the quantum physicists and all those guys that write the shit on yellow legal pads that you don't understand. They all believe there's many dimensions outside
there's no
of the
doubt to
dimensions
that.
that we're
So that's
aware
where
of.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I think the universe is insanely huge, and they're finding life compatible planets on a daily basis. There's hundreds of them now.
So I agree with you. Let me ask this question then. What do we do about this corrupt political elite trying to make us look at them and follow them? How do we break free of them?
Well, no, that's a different thing of the universe. But my question is, like, why are they telling us now that they've acquired these ships, or that they have access to these things, or that they know these things are real? You know, Bob Lazar has basically been describing exactly that, and exactly the same way since 1989, when he was first hiding, when he was on George Knapp's television show in Vegas, and they had him out only as a silhouette. And then he eventually came out and said that he was a propulsion expert that was brought to Area S4, and they've tried to discredit him, and they've tried to talk, but one of the things that he said was he talked about element 115, and that this was something that they used to propel these crafts, and it was something that it could change gravity, can bend gravity and propel itself in a way that is not like any propulsion system that we use now, which essentially you have to push something out the back to make it go forward, whether it's flames or, you know, a rocket or anything else, like even an airplane, right? It propels things forward. And what he was saying is that what this element 115 is allowing them to do is to somehow or another bend space and time, somehow or another bend gravity. They
Hold
don't,
space.
but they don't know how it works. They don't know what it's doing. But
Well, let's
they know
talk about
it
this.
operates on this element.
Let's talk about this.
Hold on. They know it operates on this element that was only theoretical until I think it was 2013 or 2015. They used a particle collider and they detected it, and then actual element 115 that it was actually real.
And that's what the superconducting supercolliders are for.
Well, I mean, they're for detecting many things, right?
Cyclotrons.
Well, these particle colliders are for detecting many different things that are theoretical, and they find these things to be true, and then it becomes, you know, scientific record. What I think is that we are apes. We are these weird talking apes that are in an adolescent stage of technological evolution. And what we might be looking at when we see these tic-tac UFOs and other things, we might be looking at something from the future. We might be looking at time travelers. We might be looking at something that comes back and visits
Joe, I
us.
think that's a good approximation, but we're a little bit beyond just apes. Clearly, we're from outside the planet, and there's something bigger going on. Like this life form's happened before. This is a major test. And so we can sit there and just say, oh, we're just apes.
No, I don't mean that. What I mean by we're just apes is that in comparison to what we could be eventually through evolution.
You're saying
or
we're in
through
a
scientific
metamorphosis.
Yeah, we're on a look. We're a lot smarter than apes, right? Than regular apes that are in
Most of us
in the zoo or in.
Well,
in
some of the public's
jungle.
dumber than apes.
Yeah.
right. I was about to say, let's
Some of
not
them are dumber.
Paint with a broad brush.
But we're nowhere near where our potential lies,
Right.
right? Our potential lies far, far, far in advance of what we are currently. And I think some of this has to do with some of these symbiotic technologies that we're talking about, like Neuralink and a lot of these things that are being proposed that are eventually going to find their way into the human body and accelerate.
I agree, but are they going to
accelerate
censor
our ability?
Are they going to censor our ability?
Well,
See, because we're already growing, and all I see from big tech is censorship. So is the Neuralink going to censor what I do?
Well,
it'll plug in and make me feel great and hit my pleasure centers.
Well, when you're talking about human emotions and greed and power and all these different things, these are all biological issues that we have that the idea is will be transcended if you could somehow
if you
eliminate
believe the
a
big
lot of
tech
these-
lords aren't like us. They're us, though. So they're in charge of the same thing that we already are. So to say, oh, big tech lords are going to take us away from our human problems.
Right, but do you understand-
Transcend sin. They're going to make it worse.
Okay, but do you understand that they didn't understand what technology was going to create when it created the internet? The ability
No,
to
I
distribute
totally agree. The
information,
establishment doesn't know what they're
the
doing.
ability to distribute information that existed pre 1990, whatever, when the internet became mainstream, it was very, very, very different than it is today, and it's very hard to get away with the things you could get away with in the early 1980s. What they can do now in terms of a regular person and their ability to transmit information, to access information, it's
all I'm saying is the controllers
and giant leaps.
I get it.
More
The
powerful.
technology's there. I'm not against the technology. It's those that introduce it to us and they control how it's deployed.
Understand?
That's the big issue. Everything is about that.
What I was trying to get to is the way information has gotten out of their hands, and you can distribute it in a way that they never anticipated. If they did anticipate it, I guarantee you they would have never let the internet.
No, I
be free.
agree. I used to complain.
I think that same thing is going to happen with all other technologies. And if that's the case, technology may be our only hope. Technology may be the only thing that saves us from all of these human emotions, the need for power and greed and control. The one thing that might save us from that is this symbiotic relationship with technology where we connect to things that will alleviate a lot of the problems of evolution.
Joe, if that technology...
I'm not saying this is good or bad.
I'm not saying you're wrong. Can I say something?
Yeah.
You're doing really good. This is great rants. Best Joe Rogan I've ever seen. I'm not being patronizing. It's good stuff.
It's okay. You're drunk.
No. I'm saying this is powerful. Be nice. Be nice. What I'm saying is... there's outside groups trying to program that. So you can't project your own goodness onto this.
I'm not saying even goodness. I'm saying...
what I'm saying is, you've been ranting for 5 minutes, and I'm just, let me just say, I get what you're saying. It's just that you're sitting there saying, this will free us from our problems, but it's still humans that program the nexus points of it, so it could actually amplify the problems. I'm saying we should be wary of all of it.
Oh, it certainly could. Look, it could go sideways. It could all go bad. But it also could go to a point where people don't feel the need to do that anymore. And that we recognize that a lot of what we have is we are escaping the shackles of our monkey bodies.
Oh, if we're our monkey bodies.
Yeah.
So if we're silicon and don't need resources anymore, we can just be spiritual, and then we'll be able to free ourselves and not hurt the earth anymore.
Hop in that Tic Tac and fly to Alpha Centauri in the blink of an eye.
So we need to. No, I already see the transmission.
If you could have a spaceship that would allow you to go anywhere in the galaxy, would you be willing to give up any of your emotions for that?
No, I know the digital deal. Give up your body for the silicon gods and become a god.
This is all fun and games, but like
We're
legit.
not even. I mean, in California, we're not even allowed to go to Applebee's. So let's stop with the spaceship. Let's just try to get. I'm not allowed to leave my
I
fucking
want to
house.
go to the Comedy Store.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get a spaceship eventually.
Yeah.
Let's get a few
I
rights
already got
back
your thing.
first.
I'm coming here election night. You're
You
drinking
know?
with me. Election night.
Election
top
night, baby.
ratings. 25 billion
Stop.
viewers.
Listen, you invited yourself to this. I think you should settle down.
We need aliens. You told me I'm coming.
No, you invited yourself. We already
It's
have
gotta-
a plan.
it's gotta coming.
No, I said you could come in for a little bit, but you're making it the Alex Jones show.
No, I'm
That's,
not.
It's a bit of an
Election.
issue.
This
Alex
is like
Jones election
It's a bit of an
special.
issue.
apple
It's a bit of
juice.
an issue. Settle down.
It's a bit of an issue.
It's going to be a fun experience.
It'll be a lot of fun.
But
But
quit being so mean. You literally.
am I being mean? No, not at all.
I think Joe wants to beat my ass right now.
No, I don't. Listen, Alex, I love you. But what I'm saying, and I'm not even disagreeing with you, I'm saying that I think when we're talking about aliens and we're talking about life forms from outer space and space travel and shit,
the big
when you see
issues
them,
of the election.
you see those fucking things, like the
talking about
iconic
Easter bunnies?
aliens. They all have big
Yeah.
heads.
Yeah, the
and
Greys.
these
The
little
Greys.
tiny muscleless bodies.
Shaved
Greys,
heads.
yeah.
Shaved heads.
Yeah, they're
they've all
keto.
Like you.
escaped. They've
You're-
escaped all of the.
You're actually
the
an
things
alien.
that make
Yeah.
us. They look like what we're gonna be.
Yeah, but who wants to be that?
I don't want to be that right now.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm with you. I like being a person.
Right. I think we should be humans for as long as we can.
What do you think aliens are?
There are all sorts of interdimensional forces in the universe in multi-dimensions. So there's like bad aliens that are trying to manipulate our development.
Gretchen Whitmer.
Because a high level, exactly, a high level would not try to manipulate our development.
Right.
Okay, so Joe is like imprinting on these demons because he loves them. He's a bad person. I'm joking. No, seriously. So all I'm saying is we need to build towards the next level and do amazing things.
What do you
That's all.
think of the? What do you think of the?
And I did
theory?
invite myself onto the election show.
Please, it's gonna be great.
I got on my
We're gonna have
news in
fun.
front of Joe.
great.
I'll do
Listen,
it again right now.
But what do you
I'll get
think?
on my
but
knees
stop,
right now.
Stop making it about you.
No,
What-
it is
what-
about me. I'm front of Ganesh.
You're drunk.
I want to come on.
We're
Yes.
gonna ban you from alcohol. What do
I
you,
want to. You're going to smoke weed with me.
What do you think about?
We're going to have
I
a
will
party.
definitely do that on
I'll be
November
here 2
3rd.
minutes.
What do you think
The
about
highest
the
rated you ever
theory?
did.
What do you think about the theory that human beings are the product of accelerated evolution? That they came down here and they genetically manipulated lower hominids and they created human beings.
Listen. I already have the genetic memory. I already told you all this. I mean, I already.
You have a genetic memory?
Yes, that's epigenetics. Yeah.
Okay,
So I have a genetic. You have a genetic memory.
right.
I have a genetic memory, and I have a genetic memory that weren't. I have a bunch of memories. It's like you go watch Star Wars. Like I've done this before. This looks totally normal. We're in the universe. We're in the planets. We're here. Our life forms have been all over the place, like little seeds that jump from planet to planet, like blowing through the space winds. So yeah, we've already been here before.
Because this is one of the things that Lazar brought up that they discussed with him at Area S4. They said that they believe that human beings are the product of accelerated evolution. It's like, and he wasn't sure if they were fucking with him. Like when he was reading all that stuff,
Right.
he's like, "Is this like disinformation?" That
No,
they're
they
giving
weren't
me?
fucking with him.
Yeah.
I mean, look, God doesn't know where God came from,
Whoa,
and we said that last time.
that's heavy.
And we don't know where we came from,
Right.
but we have the archetypal memories that go so far. And then our big fear is have an evolutionary death of the species. It's like a line of, flowers or plants or, whatever we are. And it's a whole genetic experience. We're conscious individuals, but then we have a genetic experience that goes on forever as long as the line of the genetic experience doesn't die. So we're always looking for eternal life. As long as we keep having kids, they have kids, we live forever. That's us. We just get better.
Well, as long as the Earth doesn't experience a massive extinction event.
But that's what I'm saying. Well, that's why we go interplanetary.
That's,
Well,
So the main mission
November
is
3rd. Well,
gonna go
79
interplanetary.
days. 79 days of chaos, and then
I am
hopefully-
endorsing Joe Biden right now. Your Honor.
I'm voting for Kanye.
By the way, that might be a good strategy if you endorse Joe Biden right now.
I'm going to go with my history of
Yeah.
voting for people that have been on the podcast, so I'm going to vote for Kanye.
I'm going with Joe Jorgensen because I like to back a winner.
Am I sitting in the same seat as Kanye?
Yes, you are.
All right, I'm fulfilled.
It's the best.
All right, but before this goes any further off the rails, I think we're good.
We've done it.
Oh, you want to end this transmission?
Do you?
I never got to all my notes.
You got more shit? What
gotta-
else would you like to talk
I
about?
got more shit than you can fucking imagine here.
You gotta come back. You gotta come back November 3rd. You gotta have guys
no.
wheel in
Joe said it.
documents. Just wheel in
No, Joe said
documents.
it. Joe said he's like, you're the one inviting yourself November 3rd.
You
Oh,
did.
you're coming.
You certainly did.
I waited like
You invited yourself.
19 months or something. That was just fine.
Alex, if I showed you the list of people that are trying to get on this fucking show, it would make your head spin.
I know, but I
It's
live down the
so-
street.
I understand.
I don't care. You don't want me
No, listen,
30 minutes on election
it's
night?
just- We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. But I'm just
I don't
saying,
know. I'll survive
it's,
without it. I'm
it's
fine.
very difficult for me to manage a fucking small fraction of the number of people that are trying to get on.
Well,
This is an epic podcast.
Yeah.
We got to go another hour.
It is.
Oh,
it
God,
is
like
that
last
will
time.
be dead.
I'm
Another
okay
hour.
with going another
This
hour.
is going to be bigger than the Elon Musk. That's the. I'm a
It
second.
doesn't have to be, man.
I'm the
Stop thinking
second
like
biggest
that.
podcast.
You can't be competitive.
Every listener has to spread this link right now, or I'm going to die.
Well, YouTube.
No, I wrote notes for you. Let me read these notes to you.
Yes, please do. Please do.
Okay.
Okay. What's important?
Major goals to accomplish.
How the president could invoke martial law. You handed this to me. I don't even know how he did. It's like a magic trick. All of a sudden, this is in front of my hands. I don't even remember it getting here. I don't remember me having
Well, these are big, important topics.
highlighted.
Do you drive around with this just in the car?
No, he's actually done research to prepare for this show.
No, I know
I did a lot of.
Don't,
and then
don't research shame.
And then I was
him.
like, I'm not going to drink. I'm going to be good. And we're already here. How
We're
many
talking about heavy
I
shit.
just wish this was 6 days from now so I could be
How many
drunk
hours
with
are we
you.
into this?
We're 3 hours in.
We're 3 in.
Yeah.
If we don't break the last record, we're going down.
What's the last record?
No, we don't have to break records.
No, Tim Dillon, you rant while I get ready. Give us your latest comedy. I love Joe like it's true. I was like literally on my knees. I go, Joe, can I please come under the election?
Listen, we're
He
gonna be
goes,
fine.
and he
Let's
said
not
yes,
talk about
and he like slapped
We're
me. He
good.
goes,
We're good.
He like punched me in the nose. He goes,
I didn't do that.
And I
didn't
groveled
do
on
that.
the ground.
None of that happened. But tell me, go over your notes, and Tim and I will talk. Is this everything that you hoped it would be?
This is my version of a Make-A-Wish kid going to Disney World. This is the greatest thing I've ever done is to sit here. I've watched Alex since I'm 13 years old, pre 9/11 when he was ranting about the WTO, and I followed him through 9/11, through Bohemian Grove, all the big events of my childhood, and just it's big to be here.
Can I say I'm very impressed with your knowledge? Like, you know a lot of this stuff.
Well, I didn't go to college, so you have a lot of time. You have a lot of time. If you don't go to college, I'm self-educated.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of information that you
Yeah,
have
the important
at your
stuff.
disposal.
Yeah.
You got some notes?
I like how your new studio is like a colon.
Listen, this new studio came together in just a few weeks. We really didn't know what to do.
I'm not putting
I had
it down.
This room. We banged it out real quick.
But this is going to be known as the colon.
Some
red
people
pill.
call it the
People-
red pill. Yeah. That's Radio Raheem.
Oh my God, this is the red pill.
He called it the red pill.
So this is a very rare studio. You're getting a new one ready, I know.
Yeah, we're having problems finding a good location, but yeah, we'll have.
How about my house? I got a huge area.
We're gonna find a good spot.
It's amazing.
We're looking right now. We're in the process.
All right, let's get serious.
Okay.
Oh, I covered a lot of this.
Alex, we're good, man. We're good.
No,
We're
we
3
have to
hours
go for
in.
another 2 hours.
But we're gonna see you again in a week.
Oh,
You
so
endorse Biden.
I am on the nightly this.
Relax.
Yeah.
Be here.
I have to beg. How about I just beg a little bit?
You don't act. Come on, man.
I'm
Is
not
there
below
anything
begging.
else- Is there anything else you really want to discuss?
No, I mean, I'm glad that Jamie is better than I am at searching the internet. I'm not kissing his ass, but I'm really good at it. He's better than I am, which is almost no one is.
He does it with one hand.
The problem is I remember all this stuff. Now, most of the time it's accurate. Sometimes it's not. But, I mean, if I'm saying something, I believe I saw it or I did it.
One
found
thing
something?
that was in there accurate, I didn't want to correct earlier, but the year you were talking about something, you kept saying 1963, and then they went to like 82 or whatever. That happened in 73. That group wasn't even around yet. The something to Rome.
Club of Rome.
Yeah, that wasn't even created until 68. So just for clarification purposes.
Okay. Cool.
I think they had a subgroup earlier than that.
Tim.
But I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
But JV's he has George Soros COVID. This is a compromised individual.
Google might have compromised
You know?
the records.
Oh, that's another thing I want to say. Can I say this?
Yeah.
This is the most important thing we said tonight. We said a lot of important things. But both of you are not drinking,
Yes.
so you don't know.
Right.
But this is it right now.
Okay.
mRNA vaccines.
Yeah.
So when you think about a regular vaccine, goes in, it's a broken bacteria, a broken virus, it's defeated, your body learns how to kick its ass. It's like a dummy. It's like having an attack dog trained on a dummy.
Right.
The T lymphocyte, white blood cell, it's like a big badass Mike Tyson. It learns how to defeat it. mRNA vaccines go into your cells as a virus. They're viruses. So it's a virus they inject you with that reprograms your cell to then have a certain response to things and release proteins, which is what cancer does. And so they admit on the news that 100% of people that take these are getting sick, 20% are going to the hospital. And so they also have vaccines that are called behavior modification vaccines. You can type it in.
Okay, but let me pause right there. mRNA vaccines, you said 100% of them get sick and 20% of them go to the hospital.
They had two studies. In one study, 100% got sick, 20% went to the hospital. Another study, 80% got sick, and of those, 20% went to the hospital. And that's CBS News. You can type in.
Jamie's going to find that right now.
You can type in Bill Gates grilled over vaccine dangers. You'll have CBS News reporting it. But the point is, they admit a bunch of vaccine deaths have happened now from the test. But what was I getting to before that?
So you were just talking about mRNA
Oh,
vaccines.
Behavioral modification.
Yeah, so type in vaccine to cure heroin addiction.
But we're going to get to that. But before we get to that, we got to Google the stats on mRNA vaccines because this is going to be highly contested. So we have to find out.
Well, no, you can type. I mean, I can show you the clip. Bill Gates.
But we just Google the stats on mRNA patients in trial.
I think they don't even have the stats on that.
So how do you know it?
Bill Gates was on CBS News.
And he said 80% of the people get sick
Yeah.
and 20% of them go to the hospital?
No, it was two vaccines. They said one vaccine, 100% got sick, and a certain percent went to the hospital. The other 80% got sick, and 20% of those went to the
And sometimes
hospital.
that does happen even with a flu vaccine, right? Like sometimes people get
I swear
get a
to
little
God,
sick.
you type in Bill Gates grilled by CBS, they'll bring it up.
Right.
Certain vaccines do get people a little
Well,
bit
we
sick,
had that
right?
conversation about the whole thing in India. You know, he introduced a lot of vaccines in India. There was some negative reactions to them. I mean, that's what happens. It's just, you know, a lot of people.
Joe, I sent you the article.
At mRNA vaccines.
I sent you the article about AP, about the majority of new polio cases are the Bill Gates vaccine. You in?
We'll get to that too. Let me see if Jamie can find this mRNA thing.
You know, you don't have a Morton's next door here.
mRNA.
No, I mean,
true.
I know how to look it up, but I'm like,
Are we going to get a steak or are we going to go by?
barbecue.
I'm just finding
Yes,
lots of
barbecue.
articles.
No
about
more.
steaks?
Oh, yeah, I'll get a steak.
I want to.
Look at him, he's hammered.
He was making a point about vaccines, and now we're at steak.
I am not hammered at all. I've been drinking orange juice.
You polished off a half a bottle of orange juice.
Joe, I'm just letting you have fun.
I'm happy you're here. Legitimately. So if you can't find that,
the behavioral
Google-
modification vaccine.
What is it you want to find?
Bill Gates polio vaccine causes of polio.
AP.
AP.
AP.com. The headline, the exact headline is,
Why does everybody hate Bill Gates? What is going on?
because he's so sexy.
I don't think people hate him.
No, it was like, it was like AP.
Bill Gates did not say 700,000 people have negative side effects.
He did say that. My God, he said it on NBC News.
Bill Gates did not say 700,000 people have negative side effects from a coronavirus vaccine.
I have the video of that.
Okay, but pull up AP Bill Gates polio vaccine. But that's a coronavirus. He said polio vaccine.
All right.
okay.
Now I'm pissed. I'm going to tell you the headline. It was. What was the
See
exact-
if there's a polio
Hold on. What was the headline?
article.
It was UN. UN vaccine causes polio.
UN vaccine causes polio. Okay. UN vaccine causes polio. Google
You
is
know,
not
this
going to show
sober
you
October.
shit.
Google is compromised. Can
Look
you
at
use
this.
Ask
Look at
Jeeves,
this.
please?
UN says new polio outbreak in Sudan was caused by oral vaccine.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it's not good.
New polio outbreak in Sudan is caused by oral vaccine. And this, look at that kid's face. Oh my God, is that a terrifying image? The image of them distributing that. Look at that poor kid's face. Imagine that kid getting polio from that vaccine. He looks so terrified. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean that's tragic.
Oh,
And a bunch of them died, but you know, it's
Jesus
just me,
Christ.
it's just Alex Jones. The
hold on. Back up. What does it say up there? It said World Health Organization says a new polio outbreak in Sudan is linked to an ongoing vaccine-sparked epidemic in Chad. A week after the UN
Vaccine sparked epidemic.
Health Agency declared the African continent free of the wild polio vaccine. World Health Organization said it found 11 additional vaccine-derived polio cases in Sudan and that the virus had been identified in environmental samples. There are typically many more unreported cases for every confirmed polio
It's a
patient.
whitewash show.
The highly infectious disease can spread quickly in contaminated water and most often strikes children under 5. Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
In rare instances, the live polio virus in the oral vaccine can mutate in a form capable of sparking new outbreaks.
So let me tell you a story. My grandmother died 3 years ago at 92. Incredible woman.
That's fucking terrifying.
She was told by her doctor in 1954